Hello. We are back. On today's show, I'm going to talk about a sequel and some more sequels. Mike said he's read an extremely bizarre book. And Pat says he may be suffering from a San Diego Comic-Con hangover, which might be bizarre as well. Welcome to your favorite live streaming geek culture live stream. Comics and collectibles in the crawl space. I am your fourth or fifth favorite live streaming host, Kevin, and I've got all the other people that are better than me in the room. First up is Mike.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. What's up, man?
That was,
and then also
somebody's getting fired. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, sorry. Say that again, Mike. I'm sorry. Say it again.
I said that was a debacle. Someone's getting fired.
Yeah. And then, of course, Patrick.
Please don't fire me. I need this job.
Oh, did you like my improv there? Adding the bizarre on your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a lot of improv going on with that intro. Maybe I should just, you know what? As much as I wrecked the intro, how many years are we in now? I just need to just do a different intro. Just improv it every time. Because it couldn't be any more of a wreck than trying to have this streamlined, simple, normal one. Right?
It's more natural that way. Yeah.
That's true. That's okay. It's on. Game on. All right. And then I didn't forget to say Karen as well, because unfortunately we don't have Karen with us today. So the sound effects and the background production may suffer a bit again from that. So all right, that's all I got as far as that's concerned. So, all right, yes. So first, that's what I wanted to say to everyone. Sorry for the major gaps in between episodes as of late. We got a lot of things going on.
We are busy.
Yeah. Basically, go to patreon.com, Xcellar Comics /patreon.com. And just hook us up and we can quit our full-time jobs and just do this full-time. Right, Mike?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just need a couple more people willing to donate regularly. And then we're right on the cusp of being there. So hook us up, people. Anyway, not a lot special going on today, or I should say irregular, because everything we do is special. Nothing irregular happening today. Just got our regular segments, but we do have a few things to kind of promote for upcoming shows about adding more on rather than just the regular segments. Right?
Yeah.
Right, Pat?
Yeah.
Special stuff on down the road.
Yeah.
In the works. We're always planning new stuff.
Right. And then we keep delaying the regular stuff. So that just puts the new stuff off even further. Okay,
yeah, while we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're coming up with new ideas to do when we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Right, exactly. All right. So then let's just get to it. I'm up. All right, cool.
Yeah,
I need to
what-
add this real quick. Okay, cool. Here I am. Okay. So, I don't even know what order to put this in. As you can see from the title, I've kind of given Ghostbusters the lead. I'm just gonna go with that. I mean, because but it should be the finale, right? I mean, whatever I have as the teaser should be the finale, because no one's gonna stick around and watch the whole thing if I do it first, right? What do I do, Mike?
Well, I would go with the Ghostbusters because that'll kind of suck everybody in, and then they'll stay.
Ah, that's a good plan. Okay. All right. So I watched Ghostbusters. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ghostbusters 5. Technically, I know. Let's not even get into that debate. But
I was going to bring it up, but if we won't, then I just wanted. Did you count that one?
yeah, I counted yes, I counted the one that no one wants to remember, I think. Patrick, where do you stand on that anyway, too? Do you like the all-girl Ghostbuster movie?
Never seen it.
Oh my god. Well, you saved yourself some heartache there, maybe. Well, if you're a Ghostbuster, if you like the original Ghostbusters, do you like the original Ghostbusters?
I do, but I don't think it's the greatest movies, the greatest two movies of all time. Let's just say that.
Well, that's fair. I wouldn't even call them that either. I do have fond memories of them, and I remember liking them a whole lot. Where do you stand on them, Mike? The OGs?
Yeah, I like them a lot. I agree. I mean, they're not spectacular, but they're a lot of fun, and they were a big part of us growing up. So,
yeah, good way to put that. So, and then we're jumping around a little bit. So then let's go back to the now, but not quite now. Did you see the new what's it? Ghostbusters Afterlife? Did you see that, Pat?
I did see that one. I think our whole family. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we loved Afterlife. We thought it was great.
All right, cool. We're all on the same page with Afterlife on that one. So so I was pretty excited for Frozen Empire streaming. Oh man, Karen's not here to fact check me. I do believe it's I saw this on Peacock, I believe. Man, it's surprising to me how much of the big stuff comes out to Peacock first now. It's like Peacock's one of the big dogs, which I always thought of Peacock as like, oh, it's just a channel streaming service, but it's got a lot of the big ones first now. Did you notice that, Mike?
I noticed. I guess I never really thought about it, but yeah, I noticed we're going there more often than not. Normally, I would go to the,
Amazon
Prime,
or
yeah, I go to Prime, Netflix, Vudu, or not, and Hulu. I'd go to there, and I wouldn't really go to Peacock, but you've got to move them up.
Yeah, it seems that way to me. So anyway,
Looks like it's Netflix, Kevin, by the way.
oh, this is on Netflix. Okay, thanks for the corrections, Matt. I appreciate
Forget
it.
everything we just talked about.
No, it's everything I said about Peacock still applies, but
Right.
not with Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I was excited about this because I liked Afterlife a lot. I'm big. I wouldn't say big. I'm a decent sized Ghostbusters fan from back in the day. And this one, in Afterlife, we didn't get. They kind of slipped in as a twist, for lack of a better way to describe it, at the end of Afterlife, the nostalgia and the old Ghostbusters and all that. Obviously we knew the attachments to the new characters were the old Ghostbusters, but we didn't know we were getting old Ghostbusters at the end until the end of Afterlife. But in this one, that seemed to be part of its big draw, because you obviously look on the poster here, all the Ghostbusters that are still alive are, the previous actors are featured on the poster. Who's man? What my memory, Pat? Who's the one who's passed?
Harold Ramis.
Yeah, Harold Ramis. Yeah, okay. I hope this isn't disrespectful or doesn't bother anybody, but it would. He could. They should have a ghost of him. I was thinking that with this movie, they could add a ghost of him in this because he's gone in real life, and then right?
Yeah.
No, that's not.
That would be crazy. And then they'd have to. That's the. So we do we, bust them.
That's a good point, Mike. That's like you sent the meme to me of Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore on making their clay pot poster
Right.
of Ghost and Dan Aykroyd in his Ghostbuster suits in the
Yeah,
back.
I
Because that would have been sad because Patrick Swayze is there to save his wife from this nefarious deal that's happening in reality, and here are the Ghostbusters sending him back or locking him in the whatever where they keep the ghosts in the wall. Which anyway, so back to Frozen Empire. We're getting all the nostalgia right up front, which I'm a sucker for that. But I always kind of worry about them using that as a crutch, and it seems to cost the movie. It has to be done well for it to really work, right?
Right.
Well, Frozen Empire is fine. Okay. Just to give a real simple premise, that's the other thing that I guess I want to talk about too with Ghostbusters in general. It's like when you get to 4 or 5 in a series, it starts to all be similar. It's really all the same thing over and over again, essentially. And I was definitely feeling that a little bit with this one. This one has a ghost demon that's in this artifact that they find that they're trying that there's bad ghosts that are trying to get this super powerful uber ghost demon guy out of this artifact. And of course, this is kind of happening. This is causing other events to happen, real similar to the original Ghostbusters, to where one thing's happening and it's causing all kind of other little events to happen. And then they're dealing with the little events as if it's just kind of day to day and until the big event happens. Right. I mean, does that kind of sound similar to, what you're familiar with all of them, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I thought that was it's fine. Again, it's fine, but it's nothing to really write home about. And then also too, they have the original, I think, mayor of New York. Or no, the obnoxious guy from the original Ghostbusters that he wants to stop the Ghostbusters. They're busy saving the city, but they must be stopped. That guy, I can't remember that guy, but I can't
Walter
remember.
Peck.
Yeah. So he's in this. And he's doing the same thing. And I'm like, this starts to remind me of what kind of is annoying about superhero things because, from Incredibles to then we got it in the Avengers. I mean, it's like, okay, you're saving the world from this ultimate destruction and all these baddies. But hey, we need to arrest you because you also blew up 20 cars while you're doing it. And you need to be stopped. You can't do it. This whole premise has always been annoying and ridiculous to me. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, they want to hold them responsible for the collateral damage in saving the world.
Yeah, it's like okay,
saving the world, but look what you did. Look what you did.
Exactly. It's like screw you, pal. That's I mean, I thought the way they did it with the Incredibles was funny and interesting. I mean, but it's played. So that's happening in this. And what's Ant-Man's name again?
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's like on this poster, and I thought he was like the lead, but he's as much of a backdrop character as anybody in this movie. His daughter, the little girl, if you're looking at this poster right now on the bottom right there, she's kind of like the star of this show. Basically, and it's kind of the same kind of thing too, where they basically want to she's underage, so they don't want to allow her to ghost bust anymore. So that's the government's getting involved. It's like first they want to stop the Ghostbusters when they can't stop the Ghostbusters because what's the black Ghostbusters name? I'm sorry. Winston, yeah. He's an Uber billionaire, so he's got lots of connections and lots of money, and so he's got their back. So when they have trouble, he can defend them and stuff in this movie too. But the only thing he can't defend is Paul Rudd's daughter is a minor, so she can't ghost
Child labor.
Yeah,
child labor. Can't get around those.
Exactly. You say that funny, but that's exactly the way this movie is. Exactly. So she's back at Ghostbusters headquarters. Another complaint about Ghostbusters in general. Like, how many times does that ghost holding machine have to start having problems to where they fix the daggum thing, right? I mean, it's constantly faulty, right?
Yeah. I don't like the McDonald's ice cream machines.
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Same manufacturer, I bet.
Right. So anyway, that was kind of a lead into my next thing I want to say. So then Winston, since he's a billionaire, he's actually thinking like us. He's like, I'm fixing this. So he basically makes an all new ghost vault that they need to transfer ghosts to and stuff like that. So that's part of this too. So there's some fun things in this movie. I won't really get into too many of the details because it's really, and I don't mean this to be too insulting, but it's really pretty basic. It's like, it seems like there's a lot of moving parts, but it's totally predictable, and it just didn't feel as fun, and maybe, I don't know whether I'm like over it but Lexi watched it with me. She's probably the biggest Ghostbusters fan of the family. So she was even more excited, and she kind of like, meh. I think she gave it like a 4. I think she really didn't like it.
Or 10.
10 out of 10.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. But I actually am more favorable to it. So that's what I'm saying. It's not me being an old curmudgeon that I'm like over it. The young people,
Yeah.
in my house at least, are feeling the same way, so I'm going to give Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 6 bags of popcorn out of 10.
Frozen bag of popcorn.
Yeah. So it ain't bad if you got nothing else to do and you want to check it out. Whatever, it's fine. But I think they should be done. Oh, and man, Bill Murray. I feel like the only reason they put Bill Murray in this movie is just to say Bill Murray's in this movie, because that's what you got of him. It was like nothingness, and when he was on, it was cringy. It was like, you got to check it out. I'd love to talk to you more about that in details if you guys when you guys actually see it, if you ever get around to it. But anyway, Bill Murray, don't go see this for any Bill Murray content, because you ain't getting it. They
probably had him for one day. I'm like, okay, they shot all the scenes in one day.
You're right.
These guys are getting up there.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, exactly. But Winston and Dan Aykroyd both look great for their age. How old are they, Pat?
I don't know.
You think they're in their 70s, late 60s, maybe?
Yeah.
Definitely late 60s, I'd say.
Yeah.
I always look at how old I was.
Do the math from us. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I first knew of them, and for Aykroyd and Murray, it was Saturday Night Live. So I'm like, okay, they were probably in their late 20s, 30 at that point. And at the time I was like 10. So they're 20 years older than me. So yeah, I think they're in their 70s. I'm gonna look it up. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I looked it up. Ernie Hudson is 78.
Holy
daggum.
I mean, that's
Dan Aykroyd 72.
Okay.
Man, he looks great for 78.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
And Bill Murray 73.
Winston's the oldest.
Yeah.
And he looks the youngest. like literally in the movie, he looks the youngest of them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know. So anyway, but yeah, it's just okay. You know. So there's that. So okay. Then I've got other cold sequels. My next cold sequel is House of the Dragon. Now this isn't cold, but I'm playing on the cold word here because winter's coming. Winter's coming, Pat. If you didn't know,
I guess so. Yeah.
you didn't know
Yeah, I
anything
still
about
don't
Game
know
of
what
Thrones.
I don't know what that means. I know it's a Game of Thrones thing, and I don't
Mike,
know.
what? Both of
Winter's
you,
coming.
what?
Put a coat on. I don't know.
Let me just say this. When winter gets when you're watching the show and winter gets there, you know it. You know it. Let me just say that. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
And you'll like it. You'll like it a lot too. Anyway,
Yeah.
so this is House of the Dragon. I'm bringing this up again because I watched the whole second half of season 2 and got through the finale and everything. And you know, don't need to run through the whole series again. If you don't know anything about it, though, you're looking at this poster. These two young ladies are both vying for being the leader of the free world. You know, they both want to be. Well, actually, the one on the right wants to be the queen. The one on the left, she wants her son to be the king. So that's where the big fight is. Okay, with this whole run of House of the Dragon. And this takes place. Karen told us she corrected it on one of the previous shows. I think it's like 1,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones, which that's the first thing I'll start here with the second half of season 2. They started to give us things that you can directly connect to Game of Thrones, which I love that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because in Game of Thrones, they're talking about it. And now, you know, that kind of thing. Obviously, we've experienced this before with so many other, you know, IPs and stuff. So I love that kind of stuff. That was
like
very
that kind
cool.
of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this overall about the second half of season 2. I really like this show a lot. And all the things I like about this show continued with the second half of season 2. So overall, I really like this a lot. Okay. But
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
okay, and this is gonna be real controversial too. Because everybody's heard about season 9 of Game of Thrones or season 8. I always forget season 8 or season 9 is the worst season of all shows ever in the history of shows. Like, would you shake your head? Is it 9, Pat?
Oh, I don't know. The last season, let's just say that.
Yeah, so it's the last season. Like every season up to the last season, everybody on the planet unanimously agrees Game of Thrones is pièce de résistance. It's so awesome. Everybody loves it. Then when you get into the final season, anybody who says what I'm getting ready to say is a leper. I liked it. I liked the final season of Game of Thrones.
Calls into question everything with me.
Right. I can fully recognize everyone's complaints, and I agree with them, but it didn't make me not enjoy it. But everybody else is like, "Oh man, it was so trash. They just want to throw it away," you know.
Well, that's good to hear because you know that's kind of a deterrent sometimes. Where do I really want to start watching all this? While it is awesome, it fails at the end miserably. You know, is what I've heard. So
yeah, I totally disagree with that. I think it fails a little bit. Well, I don't think it fails at all. I think it definitely fell short of how grand it could have been. But and the number one reason everybody talks about it being that way is because it was rushed. Like everybody was complaining for it to be wrapped up, so they wrapped it up. They made the final season. I think it was less episodes in that season, and they kind of rushed through stuff that it felt like it would have been 3 seasons worth of stuff if they would have done it right. You know what I mean? So anyway, So this is what I'm going to say now about coming back to House of the Dragon. The finale of season 2's House of the Dragon made me more angry than the finale of the final season of Game of Thrones. It was like, imagine this, guys. Okay, all this build up, you're loving this. This awesomeness is so happening, right? And then when you get to that awesomeness, they'll be like, stay tuned. See you next year. Like literally, like you're like headed towards the awesomeness the entire time, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is going to be an epic finale," and it blah blah blah. As soon as you get there, it's over. Fade to black. I'm so mad. Can you imagine how frustrating that is?
Yeah.
So the only cool thing I'll say about it though is there's lots of dragons in this, or lots of wyverns. Can't get that mixed up. There's lots of wyverns in this, and we get a bunch of those. And the final scene is very cool looking because the lady on the right here, the white-haired chick, she's standing there, and all these other dragons and dragon riders, they're riding dragons, are all like chilling in the background, and then it ends. It's like, gosh, dang it. But you can take that for what, you can take that as a slight positive, I guess, because I was so in. Me and Jesse both. We're so in. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So that's like quality stuff, right? But then
I mean, you're guaranteed
done.
to check in for season 3.
Yeah, exactly. Which we talked for a second. We won't do it, of course, but we talked for a second and be like, you know what? Since they did that to us, we're not even going to watch season 3.
Yes, you will.
Right. Yeah, of course we will. But anyway,
So
overall, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I can't remember which one it was, which Hobbit movie it was. Maybe the second one and the third one, where Smaug is comes out of the mountain and flying down, and you're like, oh yeah, and then it just ends. And then you have to wait for the next movie where he actually, attacks the city.
That's a good example. I'm glad you brought up one, Mike, because as I was talking, I was trying to think. Sometimes that's why I trail off, because I'm trying to think of something to say while I'm actually currently saying something, and then I mess it all up. But that's a good example, Mike, that I was looking for one of those. Okay, here's why this is different than that. Okay. So we knew the entire time the desolation of Smaug, they're heading to Smaug to get the crystal or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he gets to Smaug, and then we get all the events of Smaug. Okay. And then, of course, Smaug is mad and then goes to destroy the village as punishment for everything that's happened, right? Yeah. Imagine the second Lord of the Rings, the second Hobbit stopped when they got to Smaug.
Oh, yeah. So you don't even get that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what they need to do. They need to give you a payoff for the end of this movie, but then also something. Sorry, I keep smacking the mic. But then also something to be excited for in the future, right?
Yeah.
You agree with that, Pat?
Yeah, I do. Right.
Okay. So anyway, House of the Dragon overall, season 2, we liked it a lot, though. I'm begrudgingly giving it a solid 8.5. I'm saying my solid and then giving it a half again. 8.5. Real quality. We liked it a lot. But you know what? No, I'm going to give it an 8 because that final part of the finale made us so angry. So angry. So anyway. But check it out. That's definitely on Max. That's an HBO original, now on Max. Used to be known as HBO Max, formerly known as HBO. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then finally, what I got here. What'd you say, Mike? I'm sorry.
All the naming changes and this and that. It's like Voodoo isn't Voodoo anymore. It's Fandango, but Fandango was something before that. It's come on already.
I know, right? It's like, why? Yeah. I feel like you can't help but think there's like some nefarious shenanigans going on that they have to change their name so much, right?
Yeah, like some tax loophole or something.
Yeah.
Or they murdered somebody under the name
Well, that's
HBO,
okay.
so they
It's a
need to
little more
separate
jumping through tax loopholes and murdering someone a little farther apart. But okay, I see where you're going.
It's like we got a new big bank down here. Have you heard that? What's it called,
New
Mike?
bank?
Have you? Yeah, there's a new big bank. And anyway, I'm like, who's inventing big banks now? I mean, like I could understand a little bank, okay, you never heard of, but it's all over the radio,
Yeah.
all over the TV. I guarantee it's SunTrust, and something happened with SunTrust, so now they got to be Intuit Bank or something, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it.
Around Capital One banks.
That's what I think this new bank changed to. That's what I'm saying. Somebody at Capital One killed somebody, so they have to get as far from the Capital One moniker as possible and name a new name to still stay open, but not be associated with that death by the river.
You know what? And just for that reason alone, I'm not paying my Capital One credit card bill.
Oh man, great idea.
Paying it on. They have the coolest looking banks, though. Capital One banks were awesome looking.
I used to like SunTrust a lot because they had the big sun on it. I used to like those a lot too, man. But yeah, it's just weird. Anyway, definitely something not good happening. So anyway, speaking of things that are not good happening, my next movie is no, I'm just kidding. I love saying that kind of thing before it happens. But I wanted to show you this, Mike. This is gonna really be something I think you'll enjoy a lot too. This movie has 2 parts. So they put out connecting covers, connecting posters.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Rebel Moon, Chapter 1, the director's cut. And they changed the name. I got so much to say about this. You guys might not be able to do your segments today, but anyway. Okay, so here's Rebel 1 Part 1, and then here's Rebel Moon Part 2 director's cut.
Those are cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. I liked it. Pat, you know who
what
does
I'll
the
do
art?
is
Yeah, I was trying to suss it out while I was looking at it. I'm coming up with nothing off the top of my head.
I'll try to find a photo, or if not, I can put those together.
Yeah, they
that
look
was a
really
lot
good
to me.
together. I was thinking maybe I should try to put this together, but I did it too late, so I'm just gonna have them on here. You know.
So those are just posters. I wonder if. Oh yeah, right. Those are cool.
What were you gonna say? I wonder what.
Are they if they release it on like Blu-ray or a Steelbook or something?
All right. Well, I can't answer that question specifically, but I will say this. So these are the director's cuts of the 2 movies, obviously, that were previously released. They both dropped on the same day, August 2nd. They both dropped. Okay. So I can't imagine that they're out on Blu-ray or DVD or anything like that yet. So maybe this will dawn those future cases. I don't know. But when I saw these, I thought they were cool. So I figured I'd pick them as the posters. But, you know, this is nothing new. This is like I said, the director's cut of the movies we've already known, which I've reviewed already, both of them. Did you guys watch these yet?
Nope.
Neither one of them?
No, I haven't. I do want to watch them though. I'll get to them.
Okay. Well, you might be torn as to what you're going to watch when I get done with this review. Okay. So I'm a big director's cut guy. Okay. I love director's cut. I think we all are, right?
Yeah.
Are you a director's cut guy? You like director's cut and as a, you know.
Yeah, I like to see a different take of a movie every once in a while.
Pat,
Especially if there's shenanigans behind the scenes where the studios, purposely tanked the movie or twisted it in a certain way, and you get to see the director's real ideas.
Yeah.
That was
I
a
agree.
perfect way. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, I was to say I agree with Pat.
Yeah, which I 100% agree with that too. Perfect, and it was a perfect way to say it for what I have to say next, Pat. So this is Zack Snyder and more Zack Snyder. So
Right, because he's the director.
And from everything I researched and watched, he wasn't given a, hey, you can't do that, this, that, and the other, or it has to be 2 hours or there was no reason to cut it. Right? Like,
so what you're saying is the initial release was the director's cut because the studio and Netflix, nobody forced his hand on anything.
Exactly, Mike. Perfect.
He's a genius. Now he has 2 versions of it. Maybe he couldn't make up his mind on some stuff.
Well, okay, so I wanted to kind of play a little confusion there, but then you're probably not going to be confused after I've got this other stuff to say. But it is still confusing. It's like, no, the first one, like you just said, Mike, that was the director's cut too. I mean, and now we got the director's cut again. It's like so weird. It's like unnecessary. But and this comes right on the heels of our Deadpool Wolverine conversation in the pregame today, with vulgarity and superheroes and having a wider audience and stuff like that. So the big thing with Rebel Moon director's cut, this is super duper R-rated. So the original Rebel Moons were PG-13. So this is all super R-rated stuff now. Nudity, super gore, super violence, all just in your face, everything with the director's cuts. Okay. So the first one is actually 3.5 hours long. And then the second one is just shy of 3 hours long. Which, see, and this is why I'm especially mad at you guys, okay? Because I sold Rebel Moon for a year before it came out, okay? I watched Rebel Moon. I waited a whole nother year for Rebel Moon Part 2 to come out, and I watched it. And then I waited a whole nother year, and they dropped 2 director's cuts of both Rebel Moons, both of them over almost 7 hours long, and I've watched both of them, and neither one of you have still watched the first Rebel Moon.
All you got to do is ask. Ask me to watch it, and I'll watch it. I didn't know.
Anyway, obviously, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so if you just to recap my reviews of Rebel Moon, I'm not on board for all the hate. I think I may have said specifically they're not Star Wars, but they're good. I enjoyed them. Obviously a lot of Star Wars influences into them, and we talked about how they're like it's Magnificent Seven and the Bug's Life, and that's kind of the premise of Rebel Moon. This ragtag band of different types of people that are all brought together to save this farm on a Rebel Moon on a moon. And it's fine. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay. And with part 1 of the director's cut, part 1, first of all, to remind you guys, because I know you don't know, the first one was called A Child of Fire. And originally, the first one was called A Child of Fire. And then the second one was called The Scar Giver. Okay. But if you look at these posters, he changed the name of the chapters with the director's cuts too. So I feel like there's a lot of cheatiness going on here. It's like he just changed his mind about stuff. So it's like, you know what? It's the same movie, but I'm just going to tweak this because I want. So So this chapter 1 director's cut is A Chalice of Blood. And then this is even more confusing, which I know you guys love when I talk confusing. This poster says this is called The Curse of Forgiveness. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Okay. I was thinking it was something else, but yeah, it's The Curse of Forgiveness. So it completely changed the 2 chapter names, which was interesting, you know. And I actually think these chapter names match better than the original chapter names did, you know. So anyway, with chapter 1 director's cut, I thought it was about the same difference to me as Justice League versus the Justice League director's cut, which I speak volumes to that as far as the Justice League director's cut is 10 times better movie than the original Justice League. So watch that if you haven't yet. So I pretty much feel the same way with the original Rebel Moon chapter 1 and this Rebel Moon chapter 1 director's cut. It is leaps and bounds, in my opinion, better, which I thought the first one was fine. So this is done better. It fills in a lot of gaps with a lot of cut scenes, of course, or scenes that were cut that shouldn't have been cut, in my opinion, you know. A lot of people were saying, and I agree with this too, that there should have been just 3 chapters, you know, because these 2 are 6.5 hours long. He should have just made 3 2-hour and 10-minute chapters, you know. That would have made more sense rather than cutting off all the stuff that I think makes the chapter 1 a far better movie, you know. And that's aside from all the gore, and the nudity is so random too. It's like this is one scene and it was unnecessary, and that's it. It's not even like there's like just a heads up to people. It's not even like it's regularly throughout. Like if you know it's coming, just skip 10 minutes. No other event in the movie happens where there's any of that, you know, if you're looking to avoid that. But aside from that, there is definitely cursing and gore and stuff like that later too, which that's definitely not why, in my opinion, I think this movie's better. I think it's better, much better, because of the scenes that were cut really made a lot of the other stuff make sense that you were kind of scratching your head about, not knowing the things that you know from the scenes, you know? So, you know how that works, you know? So I'm giving Rebel Moon chapter 1, the director's cut. I can't remember what I gave the original Rebel Moon. I'm going to guess probably somewhere like a 7. I'm going to give this like an 8. I'm going to go 8, 8.5 on this too. I thought this was really good. It's still no Star Wars, but it's much better than the first one.
So, you know, obviously Pat and I haven't watched this yet. Should we watch the director's cut and just skip the initial release, or do we need to spend the time and watch both?
No, yeah, I totally. If I were you, I wouldn't even bother with the originals unless you got mixed company and you need something that's PG-13, you know, which is still fine. You're still going to get the same, you know, gist and sci-fi action and all that good stuff. But if you want a more quality film and it's, you know, only adults in the room, I think you should only watch the director's cuts.
All right. Can I see the other side of the poster?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, let me backpedal just slightly, because when we get to the director's cut of part 2, okay, all things that I just said with part 1 don't exactly apply, and it's very frustrating. I literally feel like maybe I'll do this for you, Mike, because I know you're gonna ask, and I know Pat's pining to know this as well. So I'm gonna watch the director's cut part 1 and then the original release of part 2 and see if that works, because I actually liked the original version of part 2 better.
That's
sort of. Okay, sort of. Like there was definitely some extra stuff that I liked having in part 2 that I enjoyed getting that information. But man, there is some drawn out stuff that I'm like, man, this could be, we could have watched 15 minutes less of that. Like there's some, Mike, you like your cool slow-mo when a bullet's coming at your man and he's got Neo. That's what I said. Your man, Neo. The bullet's coming at Neo, and he's doing his slow-mo trick, right? He's got to dodge the slow-mo bullet, right? All action-packed slow-mo, kick to the face, all cool stuff, Mike, right?
Right.
You have not appreciated slow-mo until you watch farmers pick wheat in slow motion.
Awesome.
There's
Is there at least good music over it?
Yes, there's at least cool music. But man, when they are preparing for the bad guys to come back to the moon, and this is a hokey part. This was hokey in the original too. This has nothing to do with the director's cut. It was a whole hokey premise, and they might have doubled down on hokey in the director's cut. Like I said, again, I'm gonna have to watch the director's cut and then the non-director's cut in that order to see because I can't remember exactly if this was even a premise, because it struck me as extremely hokey. And I thought, is that how they did it in the first one? But their plan was, because they're fighting this empire from space that basically came to them wanting their resources. We're going to take your wheat for lack of details. We're just going to take your wheat. Okay. No, we don't have enough wheat. No, we'll take your wheat or else. Right. So you got 7 days to get all your crops in, and we're going to come back and take it or else, right? So their plan is, this empire wants our wheat so bad, we're going to pile the wheat around our village as a defensive positioning because they wouldn't dare blast us from space because they don't want to destroy the wheat.
Right. Yeah.
That's literally the premise. Okay, so I thought that was a little hokey, like this big empire, and because in the second one they know that the main girl, who is the scar giver, who actually killed the queen that they're after, she's in this village, so they could just blast her from space and it'd be done with. But they're like, no, we're going to protect ourselves with wheat. So it was kind of hokey, but whatever. But when they're preparing all this wheat and stacking it around their village, oh man, it was probably it could have been a 30-minute sequence, no lie. It was, and half of it was slow motion of them farming and stacking wheat. It's like, oh my God, I was totally shaking my head. I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's move on with this. Okay. And then they got into some storytelling, which again, it was really cool to get the lore of the storytelling. But the way they told these stories were like drawn out too. So yeah, there you go. So I liked the part 1 director's cut better than the original, but I liked the original part 2 better than I liked the part 2 director's cut.
All right. Well,
okay.
Yep. You talked me into watching it.
So I'll do what I said I'll do. I'm serious. I'll do it. I'll watch the director's cut part 1 and then the original part 2, and I'll see if that works before I recommend that to you or not. Okay. Stay tuned for a future episode of Comics and Collectibles in a Crawl Space. It'll just be a one-liner though. It does it work or does it not work? I don't know, but I'm definitely going to do it. But yeah, overall still, I'm still, this isn't horrible. But it's just not as good as the first one. So let's say I gave the first one like a 7.5. Let's give this 6.5, 7 maybe, so.
Real quick on the poster there. Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Now, I don't think it's Michael Kaluta, but it kind of similar. I mean, it looks a little bit like what he would do as far as art.
Yeah, I agree. It's not him, but yeah, I tried finding the artist. I can't find it anywhere. Just a lot of comments saying that maybe this was the real direction. They should have just made it an animated movie in this art style.
Yeah, that would have probably been cool. Yeah.
It's a shame you can't find the artist anywhere because that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is an interesting choice too. I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but so this is the queen on the cover, okay? Which she's supposed to save the universe, right? So the universe is ruled with an iron fist and through tyranny, okay? But the king in his old age starts to become nice, for lack of a better way to describe it, like regrets most of his actions. And his daughter he's passing, the mantle on to his daughter, which she's got like she's supposed to be godlike too. She's got like amazing abilities and stuff too. And they actually, if you remember the girl from the other Rebel Moon posters, that main character, they actually set her up to kill the queen. And she does. And then that's why they're after her. But it's complicated, which is one of the things that's good about Rebel Moon. So I don't want to get into the details of why it's complicated. But yeah, this is literally the queen as she was dying near the end of part 2. Because we hear about her killing the queen the entire time, but then we finally get to see it. And this is literally how she's laying there. So this is really a cool pick of her,
No more spoilers.
Yeah. And then
watched it.
No, I know. I'm just going to say this though then too, but there's plenty said at the end of this movie. I will say this too. I was so worried with how long we had to watch wheat pulling that we were going to get a Lord of the Rings extended cut finish, right? Yeah. Because they did kind of set us up for a second, but then they kept it nice and short. But it was definitely a cooler ending addition than the original with the director's cut. So I enjoyed that. But there's definitely plenty said at the end of part 2 to set you up for Rebel Moon, more Rebel Moon. I don't know what you'd call it. Rebel Moon part 3, Rebel Moon. I don't know what they want to do. That would be, has that ever happened, Pat? You know how they have, obviously we've done it with Harry Potter. We did it with Twilight, where we got like 2 movies or more. And then the last movie is split into 2 parts. So it's the finale, which is, what's the Harry Potter one, Mike? What's the final Harry Potter movie?
I can't remember.
Mike, you should be embarrassed. Pat, what is it?
I'm not. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
I don't pay attention when my wife talks.
Oh, man, Mike.
You guys act like you do.
Anyway, whatever the finale of them are, they split the final movie up into 2 parts. Has it ever worked in reverse where they split the original of a trilogy into 2 parts? Like there could be Rebel Moon part 1 and 2, and then Rebels Unite, and then Rebels. You know what I'm saying? Have they ever done it in the opposite? You think? Can you remember?
No, I don't know.
Well, that seems to be what they're going to have to do with this one if they continue. But as much hate as, especially now, well, the original Rebel Moon and now director's cut, as much hate as it's getting, I can't imagine there'll be more. But I sure want some, because the stuff they talk about at the end of part 2 definitely made me want to see more. But it seems like I'm in the Batman and Robin camp on that one. I don't know, So I think when you guys watch it, though, regardless of what you think of the movie, when you see the end, you'll at least agree that you want to see what they're talking about, But anyway.
Right.
All right.
Very good.
All right, that'll do it. Until next time, don't forget, appreciating.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I don't know what's going on with lighting here. I look like one of the Simpsons characters.
Yeah, I noticed you're a little orange.
Yeah,
yellow.
John just...
No politics, Pat. Stop it.
I've got the same lights.
Hey, that seems a little. Well, it was a little better. Yeah, it went back again.
You know what? I think you actually. I think it might be partially too because me and Pat are particularly bright. We're like really white in our face. You know what I mean? So I think it's the contrast.
And obviously, you guys don't go to the pool. I've been to the pool. I got a little bit of tan.
No, my arm is actually tan. I'm serious. My arm is tan. No kidding.
Yeah.
But I look like what's that? Oh man, I was gonna say that old movie. What's that old movie with that kid with the powers that's all white? Remember? Everybody was excited about it.
Yeah.
Powder, yeah. Yeah, I look like Powder.
That movie had controversy, but we don't need to get into all that.
All I remember about Powder is everybody was excited for it to come out, and then after it was out, everybody was like, "Oh man, that sucked." That's all I remember about Powder. Did you see Powder, Pat?
Of course not, Kevin.
Okay.
I saw it in a movie theater.
I did
Wow.
too. I saw it in the theater too. Yeah.
You took a powder, adoring powder.
Power nap. That's right.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, check out Rebel Moon. That'll do it. Mike, are you ready?
Yeah, let me wake up here. Let me find my
Your
stuff.
turn.
How long have we been going here? An hour. Jeez. All right, let me fly through this. Go ahead.
Hey, in my defense, I stopped talking 7 minutes ago. It was 48 minutes when I stopped talking. Okay, then we just got into our banter. So
We just talked for 7 minutes about me being yellow and
yes,
your blank tan there. All right.
yes, we're still doing it. Now it's 8. All right, you ready? Okay. All right.
Yeah, you can tell I have more doodling than normal at this part of the show.
I still wanted to say more too, just FYI. I cut myself short.
I believe it. I believe it. All right. Here we go. We've got 10 covers chosen from a list of 455 with a shelf date of August 14th. We'll start off with X-Men #2, J. Scott Campbell. And then Green Lantern 14, Chris Samney. Batman and Robin 12, Simone DeMeo. DC versus Vampires, Homare. And that is a foil cover. I Lie Popeye from Marcus Williams. That's the 1 in 10 variant. House of Secrets 92 facsimile with a Kelly Jones Beetlejuice cover. Torpedo 1972, #5 from Anthony Marquez. Iron Fist, the 50th anniversary, #1, David Aja. Werewolf by Night, #1, Jeff Deckel, and that is the 1 in 50 variant. And Death in the Family, Robin Lives, #2 from Dan Mora.
All right, I got 2 things to say before you continue, if I can, Mike.
Yeah, I had stuff to add. No, dang it. I forgot to upload a couple pictures. Go ahead, continue.
First of all, Mike, do you want to see Beetlejuice?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Michael Keaton. I love the first Beetlejuice. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then Pat, we know how you feel about Batman on a gargoyle. How you feel about Robin on a gargoyle?
Yeah, I told Mike, I said, I really appreciate the work you put in. No Batman on gargoyles this week.
Nice.
Yeah. When I was doing it, I was like, we'll see what Pat thinks of Batgirl on a gargoyle. And then you can't really see it because of the 3 on purpose, probably. But then I got to that one. I was like, how about Robin on a gargoyle? Yep.
I didn't even realize with Batgirl because I kept calling her Catwoman. You put fangs in Batgirl, I think she looks like Catwoman 9 out of 10 times, so.
Everybody in the house here is like, her face looks weird. I'm like, she's a vampire.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm mad at myself because I actually had other covers that I wanted to kind of put up here as well and highlight. Let me see if I can find them. Because I was a little bit, the Batman and Robin, who's the artist there? Simone DeMeo. I fully expected to see an After Adams on that. Because what Batman issue is it? 241. And I actually have, hold on. I have that I was going to put up there. So you can see it's, that is a straight homage. And I was going to put side by side, but I forgot. So anyway,
Oh,
and then,
okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Okay.
and then that Robin Lives at the bottom put me in mind of Batman 465, which it's almost like the same angle, but it's not, and the
Yeah.
Robin a little bit different there, but it's a different Robin. So, but I thought that was kind of cool. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So a lot of pseudo references, but maybe not with this week. Essentially, is that what you're thinking?
yeah. Well, that Batman and Robin is straight up Neil Adams. That is. I mean, from the logo, not trader, but from the logo to the background to even the sun and Batman and everything, that's the Neil Adams cover.
But it doesn't say after Adams or doesn't give any kind of recognition to that, right?
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Maybe on the physical copy it is, but at the maybe this just didn't have it added for those solicitations. But I'm hoping that it does, because I don't know how in this era, that's everybody is giving credit where it's due. You would think.
Yeah, you would think. That's the whole thing. You would think. Yeah.
Yeah, you would. So, this was I kind of told Pat this last night. The votes come in the pretty much the same order every week, and Pat and his family are usually the last ones. But it's fun that way because it's usually 3 votes coming in, and a lot of times, those votes really shift how things are.
Right.
And there was a 3-way tie for first place before Pat's votes came in.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then I got Pat's and Karen's, and it was like a wrecking ball. It was so awesome. It was a wrecking ball, and it changed things enough to where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to switch things up a little bit this week because of the way everything fell. So that's why you'll see some changes here. But
okay.
we'll go through the 3, and then we can come back and talk about our favorites and what we did.
Okay.
All right. So coming in third, we had, and this surprised me a little bit here. We had I Lie Popeye, and I don't fully understand the title of that book. But I'm excited for this. I pre-ordered number 1.
Yeah, I really love this one. I did not pick it. I'm 99% sure I didn't, but it was definitely in the running for me because I really like this a lot.
Yeah, you did pick this one.
I did pick it. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You picked this
and I
one,
was
Pat?
surprised that you picked it.
No, and it's partially colored because I read the Free Comic Day I Lie Popeye and did not like it.
Oh.
Do you know, can you shed some light on why it's called I Lie Popeye, having read that?
I certainly can, Kevin. It's basically a Rashomon style story where everybody's giving their individual tale of how Popeye lost his eye.
Oh.
So an I Lie. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Nobody knows the true story yet. As far as
I should have read
that.
Yeah, I should have read that. I have it, but I didn't. So it's not good, huh? Son of a gun.
It wasn't very good. It was hampered by the fact that the production values weren't very good because the word balloons and the text was very tiny. Now maybe they'll figure that out on the actual number 1, but I was just kind of put off by the production values of it. And the art is okay in places, I would say. It's this cover is a good representative of the interior artwork, but I would really prefer like classic, like original. I like the original, way back black and white Seagar Popeye style as compared to this new modern. But it's okay. It's a kind of a neat modern twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to second place. And what I decided to do here was there was a tie for second place. And instead of doing tiebreakers and stuff like that. Just I'm like, let's go ahead and highlight. It gives us a chance to highlight more covers than just 3. So in second place, we had Werewolf by Night by Jeff Deckel and X-Men #2, J. Scott Campbell.
Awesome. I voted for the X-Men. Well, I think these are my other 2. I think. No.
No, you didn't do Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. Okay. So X-Men. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the no, that X-Men you can get from J. Scott Campbell's website. I think it was also an open order book. At first I thought, a lot of times him and like Scotty Young, they do website exclusives that are $20-$30, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can get those autographed for like $20, $30.
Yeah.
But it was open order. And then of course that Werewolf by Night is a 1 in 50. So good luck finding that. I don't know how many shops are ordering 50 copies of Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
The big ones, but the smaller stores probably not.
Well, they're definitely both awesome, but I think I like the X-Men a little bit more. What's her name again? On X-Men?
Magic.
Yeah, Magic. Yeah, Magic has become in a top 5 character. If I could be so bold to say, top 5 character for Tyler recently. So I know he's especially happy with this cover because of that.
Well, he's a big New Mutants fan, so I can kind of see that. She was in there quite a bit.
I'm not sure he's a big New Mutants fan. He's not a big New Mutants fan.
He was putting that whole run together.
Because I told him we'd give him New Mutants 98 because of Deadpool if he put that run together. It's the only reason he put it together.
Oh, I thought it was because he really liked the New Mutants, and I was trying to help him out.
No, he doesn't know anything about the New Mutants.
I have 6 copies of this one. You can have this one. It's all tattered.
No, all you did was help him take our New Mutants 98 whenever it comes back from CBCS. That's all you did, Mike. I'm just kidding. And then he was mad at the New Mutants movie because Magic's a highlighted point ever so briefly. Well, the character Magic is in it a lot, but you don't see Magic become Magic like this Magic until did you see New Mutants, Pat?
Kevin. I have it.
Oh.
Pat, that's even worse. You own it and you still haven't watched it. Mike,
I even watched it.
Okay,
That's not to pile on and make Pat feel even worse. You own it and I watched it. That's just really, I thought it was good. I need to revisit it.
New Mutants was kind of like Raiders of the Lost Raiders of the Lost Ark with me. Bear with me for a minute here. So back in the day when I saw the trailer for Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm like, oh, that looks so dumb. I'm not going to waste my time on that POS. And then I didn't watch it in the theater, and then I stayed away from it for like a long time. I don't know, years. And then I watched it. I'm like, oh my God, I missed one of the best movies of all time. So that similar thing happened with me with New Mutants. I was like, man, that trailer looks like trash. I'm not wasting my time with that stupid movie. And then I waited, and then I watched it, and I'm like, okay, it was
pretty good.
It wasn't trash.
All right, let's get to number 1.
All right. Oh, wait. Hold on.
You have a drum roll, Karen?
Hold on.
Go ahead. Anytime. Go ahead. I'm ready. There we go. It was another tie. There were so many. Everything was so close. I had to do it. So we've got Batman and Robin #12, Simone DeMaio, and DC versus Vampires, Hamade. Not a fan of those single name things there.
Why? Elaborate.
I don't know. It's just annoying to me a little bit.
Okay.
Give me some more.
Okay.
But there you go.
I think Jock's kind of cool.
I'll give him a pass. Jock
Okay.
and Prince. I'll give them passes
Okay.
because they're
Fair enough.
so good at their craft. It's like they deserve the one name.
So yeah, we talked obviously extensively about that Batman and Robin, which I think I didn't. This was in my running, but I didn't ultimately pick it because I wanted to go with. I can't even remember what I picked for my third one now. Neither my third one didn't make.
X-Men, I Like Popeye, and House of Secrets.
Yeah, House of Secrets. Yeah. But these are really cool. Man, I'm still not a fan of zombified, vampirized, whatever superheroes. They look cool, but I'm not a fan. So, I'm not. How you feel about that, Pat? Do you mind when they get zombified or vampirized, or how you feel?
I'm not really a big fan. Didn't vote for this cover. Gargoyle and all.
Yeah.
It's probably going to look sick as a foil, though. You said it's a foil. It's probably going to look sick.
Yeah, I bet you it does. I like the way her cape turns into the bats. That was kind of cool. But I really love the Batman and Robin, and it's probably because when I look at it, it takes me back to that Neil Adams book.
I didn't even notice that with the bats, her cape turning into the bats. That's pretty cool. That is cool.
You want to vote for it now?
No.
If you did, it would move it into first place solely.
So 5 of 10 made it into the pick 3. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they were good ties. Had to highlight them. So there we go. You guys want to take a guess on if any of them received 0 votes?
Oh boy. I don't know.
What first we're guessing if any of them did or which one did. We're guessing if any of them did.
Yeah, both, whatever.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's definitely at least one that didn't get any votes.
And which one do you think that is?
Yeah, which one? So yeah, I guess second.
Well, my instinct goes with that Green Lantern, but then possibly Iron Fist as well. Although I like the Iron Fist better than the Green Lantern, but it's still, that style. I don't know if that appeals to our crowd, especially with these other ones. Like I feel like who that Green Lantern appeals to would probably go with Batman and Robin or House of Beetlejuice first. That kind of,
Right. Well, luckily they all got votes.
Wow.
And Iron Fist was tied for 4th. So it actually got more than 1 vote.
Say it again.
Iron Fist tied for 4th.
Daggum.
Yeah.
Wow.
It tied with House of Secrets.
Yeah, I really like the Iron Fist cover. Partially because that was a really good run with Matt Fraction and David Aja. That's why I voted for it. Out of a little bit of recent nostalgia, I suppose.
So did you vote for the Green Lantern too, Pat?
No, I did not. Even though I'm a big Chris Samney fan, did not like that cover.
Mike, who voted for who? Huh?
Ayla voted for Green Lantern. That was the only vote for it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I put that one through. I should have known better. Dadgummit.
You should have. And Torpedo got 1 vote. I was surprised. And that was
I like that cover too. Yeah,
that's really cool. This was a great week. This is a good mix of you kind of got it all this week, Yeah.
Yeah, this one it's all over the map as far as styles and subject matter and
yeah, great job. Great job, Mike.
I kind of wanted to vote for the House of Secrets cover just because I cracked up when I saw that Beetlejuice had the brush in his hand. I thought that was the funniest thing about it.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
Yeah,
I actually ordered the foil copy of the original instead. I thought about ordering the Beetlejuice one, but I'm like, you know what? I need a really good, nice looking copy of the original Rights and Work. So I ordered the foil.
Cool.
Anyway, that's it.
Awesome.
That's your pick 5.
That was really good. It's seriously great stuff. Do that every week now. I think that just set your bar as far as I'm concerned. You feel that was as excellent as I'm saying, Pat, as far as the options of the differences and like Mike was saying, even the subject matter aside from the art and just everything. It was great.
Yeah, but he's at the whim of the covers they put out, so we'll have to see.
Well, with 456 every week, there's surely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you would think that, but when you've got publishers that put out, 40 Vampirella and 30 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle covers, it starts dwindling. Red Sonja has, Dynamite is notorious for just so many covers.
That'd be an interest. That's an interesting stat I'm requesting for the next pick 3 is to you give us the amount of covers, but how many separate actual books, that'd be.
Yeah, I did that a few weeks. It was probably a year ago. I did that for a couple weeks where I did like the top 3 or 4, like DC had how many covers with how many books and kind of a percentage there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll do that.
All right, cool. All right, but yeah, great work. All right, ready to talk about that content we were just referencing.
Yeah, what's that?
I said, are we ready to talk about the content we were just referencing? Interior book.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well done. I have to say, some of my favorite comedy stuff is where people get cut off.
Yeah. All right, what you got, Mike?
I read Tales of the Bizarre number 7.
He wasn't lying, folks.
Wasn't lying. Bizarre. Son of a gun. I didn't do my homework on when this came out. I think it came out a couple weeks ago. So there you go. Good luck. It's from James Maschia is the writer. Now this annoys me. Like previously, I just said that the single name artist annoys me. I don't like when the artist is Meta Comic Studio.
What? Yeah,
that's who is credited as for the art. Now the cover is and this is my whole one name thing. Zaff. The cover's by Zaff.
Hold up. So the cover is by Zaff.
Yes.
And the interior art is credited to Meta Comic Studio.
Yes.
Is that one of Frank Zappa's kids?
Yes, Zappa. So yeah, this had a right there. I was annoyed because I'm like, okay, I want some more artwork from Zaff. I think it's great. I highlighted this on the previews. He did the covers for 7, 8, and 9 of this series, which I pre-ordered these because fantastic covers. And I was looking forward to some really good artwork as well. So I'm looking for, I'm like, okay, who do I need to trash for this interior artwork? And it's Metacomic Studio. So maybe nobody wants to take credit for it.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Zaff doesn't work for them, does he?
He does for 7, 8, and 9. But 6 through 1, yeah, it's all the same. It's very similar to the interior art. And I imagine they're probably going, these covers just aren't selling the book.
Get Zaff.
Get Zaff on the cover. So I spent about 5 or 10 minutes looking for other artwork by Zaff, and I couldn't find it with just a quick Google search. I have other avenues I'm going to go to, but ran out of time, got bored. But I do like his art style. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's what made me buy this book, because the other 6 issues, not interested at all. But that cover is like, heck yeah, I'll own that.
I can't wait to hear about how this story is.
Yeah. Well, there are 3 stories.
You don't have an example of the interior art either yet?
Come on now. You know
Of course
me.
you do. Okay. Yeah, of course. That's me. I was projecting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. This is the first story, and I actually like this. I mean, I think this is pretty. This is okay. This is good. There's some aspects that I don't. You can tell this is all digital, and I like parts of it, like the characters up in the right. I like that. Her face in the bottom left, I don't like it. So this is kind of hit or miss on this first story. And this, I don't want to give too much away on these, because all 3 have the standard twist ending, a la, the Twilight Zone. So if you
Is
like
this a
that
regular
kind of
size issue too?
yes, yeah,
Man, so in
like 30.
20 pages, you got 3 stories that could have twists at the end. That's nuts.
Well, 32. There are no ads in this.
Ah,
So, and they're also, kind of like the creep show type of stuff. You've got a host to the book. I didn't share those pages. It's very similar to the other stuff. But so the first story, this woman here, she befriends an alien.
holy mackerel! We need to black out this first bubble. No one look at the first bubble.
Oh, I didn't even read it. I'll go to the next one.
No, I was just kidding, Mike. It's fine. It's fine.
I didn't even. Normally I kind of read stuff and remember if there's bad stuff on there, but so the first one, if I give too much more, this woman befriends an alien. I don't want to go in, because I don't want to ruin the twist endings, because those are kind of fun. So if I give it away, then they're so short. If I give it away, there's no reason to read it. The second one, this one is remote viewing. So this guy, he goes out and he stands out in the middle of the street in front of his house, and he practices remote viewing, which might be a thing that people try to do. Basically, he leaves his body and he kind of goes around and he's able to enter the houses of his neighbors, just looking for something exciting to watch. And the first neighbors are kind of boring. This guy, so he's kind of going around eavesdropping on his neighbors.
That's weird.
Yeah, and if you look at the 3 rules there to remote viewing, was it concentration is key, never draw attention, and be aware of surroundings. And those are important to the story and the twist.
I imagine standing in the middle of the street.
Look at the big brain on Pat. Love it. Because I read that, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get to the end, I'm like, whoa, holy cow, I didn't see that coming.
Holy spoiler alert. Now my mind is pre-blown.
Yep. But there's more of the art style. It's kind of just I don't know. I didn't like it a lot. Now the third story, it's set in 1939 on a German submarine, and they have a captive sea human creature kind of thing right there, and they are forcing her to show them a secret what's the civilization in Antarctica. And that's all I want to say on that, because once again it has a crazy twist ending. And the art, it moves the story along. The storytelling is good art wise, but the art style is just kind of.
I actually like this one. I think the best, as far as the art's concerned, looks good.
It's hard for me to actually describe what I don't find appealing to this kind of digital art. I don't know what it is. Very flat. I don't know. But if you're gonna spend the money on this book, it's definitely worth it for the cover. If you see it in a dollar bin, get it for the cover. You won't be disappointed there. The stories are fun, you know, like Pat kind of saw that one. You can kind of guess where they're going to go. More the middle one than the other two. It's kind of a nice little twist on those. So anyway, for me, this is a get it for the cover. I really don't have an opinion on the stories. It's got to be your jam, or fall into a dollar bin buy worth that. But I think the cover price was what, $4.99 or something. But I've got the next two ordered, and I'm actually looking forward to reading them.
Who'd you say the publisher of this was again?
I didn't.
Asp.
It's not Aspen. Oh no, I see what you're doing there, Pat. I can't remember now. I have to look it up. I'll look it up and I'll interrupt one of you.
Okay.
It is Dren Publications. Or Dren Productions. So yeah,
that's a DP. That's a DP.
Oh, there you go. It is a DP. I see what Pat was doing though. It did look like
ASP. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It looked like OSO almost. You can kind of, but yeah, it's Dren. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, it was a $5.99 cover price.
Ooh.
Son of God, not even $4.99. So, yeah, son of a man, dang it. Not regretting that purchase. But I love the cover. So there you go, Zap. I'll be looking for more of your stuff.
I'll buy it off you for $1.
No, I don't want to sell this one. I like the cover.
Okay. Can I borrow it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Don't ruin the cover.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just going to tear the cover off and give you the book. You can read the book.
Tell them the interior for $4.99, and you can have the cover.
Yeah, there you go. For the cover. All right.
All right. Cool.
So that's it.
Pat.
Me. All right.
You're up, Pat. Next in line.
Okay, if you remember, I think last time I talked about this, I was getting caught up on Amazing Spider-Man, and we'll briefly talk about this because this is 4 issues here, but not a lot going on. This is 51, 52, 53, and 54, and primarily, entirely written by Zeb Wells. Primarily, the artist is Ed McGuinness, although Todd Knock helps out a little bit here and there, especially in the earlier issues.
Love these covers.
Yeah, well, so the flip side of what Mike was just talking about, right? So great covers, same exact artist in the interiors. So that is the strong selling point for these final issues of the Goblin Sin storyline. We've been over it many times. It goes back to the previous Nick Spencer run where Norman's Green Goblin sins were taken away from him and they were put back. And it's kind of like the whole Michael Scott snip, snap in these issues here. And it actually kind of gets to wear on you. It's just like, okay, we get it. Let's get on with it and finish this off because there's so much back and forth between the Goblin Sin sort of manifest physically. They're like a spirit floating around, and they're going into Peter, and they're going back over into Norman. It's just like get this over with already because it's too much back and forth. But although I wasn't entirely on board with the final solution as to how quickly Norman got the Green Goblin sins back into him. It seemed like something they'd been building on, all of a sudden was just there. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. I liked Norman trying to play the good guy. And it continues after this arc, actually, because and this is I figured it was time to, you couldn't really, everyone's seen this already. So it was real big deal to show these covers now. The Spider Goblin, and he doesn't really even stick around that long. I think even by the end of this issue, he's gone because Chasm helps to sort of use his powers. And even though Peter Parker is still influenced by Norman Osborn, the Spider Goblin part of him is gone, even though he continues to appear visually on the covers for Punch, I guess, to sell the book. And really, he's corny in a way, but you got Ed McGuinness drawing him. I think he looks pretty cool. I don't know.
I think he looks cool too.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's cool.
So,
and it might be because McGuinness is drawing it, like you said.
Yeah. And again, that is the big selling point of this little arc here is the artwork. And I think I mentioned it sort of going into number 50, 51. Ed McGuinness seems like he's having a blast drawing. You can just feel it come through his art. It's so evident that he was just going all out, doing this crazy, Spider Goblin and doing the fights between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin and all the background characters that sort of were assisting in finishing out this Goblin Sins arc. The story, okay, it's passable. It wasn't the greatest, but the artwork's phenomenal. It's a get it. It's I'd say a mild get it to somebody just coming in. It's probably a little bit stronger get it to a Spider-Man fan in general, and especially it's a get it for an Ed McGuinness fan. Really good artwork. I didn't want to spend too much time. It's Nick or Zeb Wells has announced he's leaving the book. I think John Romita is on for the last couple issues to finish it up. And then we'll see where they go. I don't think, again, we kind of mentioned this last time, but I don't know if they've really mentioned who the next creative team taking over this book is going to be. But yeah, a lot of people were hot and cold on Zeb Wells. I was more warm. I didn't like a lot of his decisions, but I thought it was decent writing. Things made sense, but wasn't happy with a lot of the choices he made. Let's just say that.
I think, real quick, I think Joe Kelly is going to be writing like 6 issues or 8 issues.
That's right. You did say that. Yeah.
But I don't know who the artist is. It might be, I think it is. I don't know.
Okay. He may be Ed McGuinness may be on the shelf for a little bit, recovering from these last 4 or 5 issues. So who knows? In fact, the last issue, this issue right here, 54, he had I think 4 or 5 different inkers. So that tells you the book they had to get the book into different inkers' hands to get the entire book completed in time for the deadline. Assuming.
Jeez.
But it looks good. All the inkers seem to compliment him well enough. So yeah, fun story, a little kooky, but yeah, I enjoyed it. The other thing I wanted to highlight this week was I just got my shipment recently, and I got Ain't No Grave number 3 by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Hopefully the cover's up for you. It's lagging for me for some reason.
Yeah, it's up for me. Yeah.
Okay. We talked about we're going through the titles of the stories are cycling through the stages of 5 stages of grief. This is bargaining, which I kind of guessed. Not too hard to guess. Issue 2 ended because the main character Ryder was left on a riverboat, wounded. A gambling riverboat called the Blind Majesty. She's patched up quickly by the crew, kind of roughshod. They're keep in mind we're in the city of Cyprus, the city of the dead. So it's all these sort of like zombie-like monster type creatures, and the doctor's no exception. He sews her up the best he can because the owner of the Blind Majesty, Madam Gates, knows that she's coming. She's foreseen this, I suppose. And the idea is Ryder wants to, her end goal here is to confront death itself, but she has to go through these various steps to get to death. And this step here is to play a game of chance, in this case, poker, against the Madam Gates character who you see on the cover of issue 3 here. The idea is to win a bargaining chip so she can face death. So again, we see a series of flashbacks, and for the first time, her flashbacks are usually all focused. She's doing things for her family, and things are good between her family. But in this issue, we see an instance where the family homestead farm that she shares with her husband is being foreclosed on, and they don't have money to pay for it. And she goes through a similar gambling situation where she gambles her family's money to try to save the farm. And in both instances, both in the flashback in present day in the city of Cyprus, she's got not only aces up her sleeve, she's got the whole deck of cards up her sleeve. She's a cheat, which again, throws her. We've questioned her character previously, and it's obviously that she's not a very good person. The only thing you can really say about her is that she loves her family. Is that enough to make her a hero? I don't know. I guess that's up for you to decide. But in both cases, she cheats and does win. In the flashback, we see for the first time that there's friction between her and her husband, because her husband says this is no way to set an example for her child. So, things like that. And she can't always do things, revert to her past ways to get through situations, basically. So things weren't as idyllic as you might have thought between her family, perhaps. And on the other hand, in Cyprus, she does defeat by cheating Madam Gates, but Madam Gates gives her points for having the guts to face her, and Ryder points out that she never told her that there was no cheating in this game. So she agrees to give her the calling card to go see death. But they don't treat her kindly, and they beat her up and throw her off the riverboat, and she's left at the end with her bargaining chip in hand, and she sees what we assume is the location of death personified in this city of Cyprus. It's like a big tower, and that's how we are left with number 3. The writing by Scotty Young is fine, but I don't think it's anything that's blowing me away. What's blowing me away is the artwork by Jorge Corona. It is just fabulous. He's gained a new fan in me for sure. I just love his artwork. It's phenomenal.
No interiors?
Sorry?
No interiors?
No, but this is, I didn't have time to catch some interior shots, but he's doing the covers. This is a very good representation of his art style. It's very stylized, very leaning towards the cartoony side, but in a different cartoony style than Scotty Young. But it certainly hits me. It's right up my alley.
Gotcha.
And just love it. For that, even though, like I said, the story's fine, it's not blowing me away. But combined with the artwork, this is definitely still a strong get it from me. Can't wait to see how it finishes up. Hopefully it finishes up satisfactorily in issues 4 and 5. I will say, because of the pacing so far, and what I read, a slight spoiler for number 4, that it's almost a totally silent issue. That I think this, in the end, will certainly be better as a collected edition, just because of sort of a little bit of unevenness of pacing so far. And like I said, about the next issue coming up. And I'm all for it, especially if they do like an oversized. I'd love to have this artwork in a larger size, just because it's so detailed and I love it so much. But yeah, as is reading month to month, it's and I think number 4 may have actually even come out this week. It's a strong get it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
I think the artwork would really be better served, expanded. It seems some of it's kind of just squeezed into the standard comic book size.
Yeah,
that you lose a little bit of it. Well, I can't wait to read this. I have them just sitting there waiting, but it almost seems like, I started reading number 1 and it just seemed like a lot. Is there a lot of text and dialogue and stuff in here? More text.
No, I don't recall it being that way, honestly, but it's been a while. And like I think I mentioned, number 1 was a double-sized issue. So
yeah.
Very cool.
Think of it this way, Mike. Number 4 has no dialogue practically, from what I hear. So.
I'm looking forward.
How many issues is it going to be?
5.
Yeah. 5. Yeah, 5 standalone or single issues, which still equals a 6 issue trade paperback because of that double size number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. I read the finale of Wolverine Blood Hunt, not to be confused with the main run of Wolverine books. This is Wolverine Blood Hunt. We talked about how the trade dress on this is weird, and it makes it look like it's in a regular Wolverine run, and it's just a Blood Hunt tie-in. But this is a separate. This is issues 1 through 4 of Wolverine Blood Hunt, and I think you guys can remind me. I reviewed 1 and 2.
I think so.
And then I think I didn't review 3, but I read it. And then I read 4, but I don't have a picture for the cover for 3 here. But just a reminder that basically Wolverine, I guess, isn't directly involved in the main Blood Hunt storyline. He's kind of, the way they set this up in every issue at the beginning is Wolverine's kind of done with the superhero stuff, and he's kind of just living his life. But of course, with the way Blood Hunt is affecting the entire planet, he can't escape having to deal with it. And you see on this cover in issue 4, he's been dealing with his buddy Maverick, which I don't know if he was in. I don't think he was in issue 1. It was kind of like he didn't know who was behind all these baddies being sent to get him, to get Wolverine. And then in issue 2, I think we discover it's Maverick behind it all. So you see him as a big player in 2, 3, and 4. And basically, just to recap 1 and 2, he sends different, it kind of keeps leveling up like a video game of tougher baddies, trying to get Wolverine. And the whole time, once he discovers Maverick's behind it, now he's teamed up with a vampire friend of him. It's a female that's like Blade. She's a vampire, but she's a vampire hunter. And the two of them are just trying to find Maverick to basically stop him sending all these baddies to get Wolverine. And obviously, as you can imagine, it all comes together in issue 4. Finally finds where Maverick is, and this is one cover that's a great representation of what a majority of this book is. It's Maverick and Wolverine just straight up fighting each other, and they're like old school buddies. So there's a little bit of conflict there because the only reason Maverick is acting the way he is, well, it's kind of dual because he's become vampirized, which is, I guess, the entire premise of Blood Hunt is vampires have blotted out the sun so they can basically make everybody vampires and just rule the world. So of course, Maverick is included in that, and he is actually being controlled by this queen vampire as well. And she actually is kind of waiting for all the events of Blood Hunt. And I keep saying, I guess, because I haven't read any Blood Hunt. So I'm just assuming these things. She's waiting for all of the things that are happening in Blood Hunt to finish, so that then she can just swoop in and become the queen of all vampires. And she's telling Maverick, hey, if you help me, you can be my king. And thereafter, Wolverine, because they just figure having Wolverine as one of their minions will be epic, even more epic. A couple interesting things happen in this. I mean, I just gave you the gist, and you can imagine how this plays out. But a couple interesting things that happen is, did you know, either one of you, that there seems to be a weakening of Wolverine's healing factor whenever the healing factor is actually healing? So, like, for lack of a better way to describe this, like, say he's at 100% healing, right? Then he gets hurt and he's healing. His healing overall drops down to like 80%. And then it keeps dropping down. Like, does this make any sense to you? Because this didn't make sense to me. Because I'm thinking, if that were the case, then he could be killed. Then he could be,
Get down to zero.
What's that, Mike?
Get down to zero.
Yeah, exactly, right? But that's the premise they give you with this book, because Wolverine actually stabs himself on purpose to weaken his healing factor, so that his girlfriend that he's joined up with, that they're trying to find, Maverick, bites him, so he becomes a vampire, because they notice that Maverick, who's watching them via cameras, they go to Maverick's hideout, fortress, whatever, and there's cameras everywhere. So Maverick is talking to them and watching them in the cameras while they're kind of going through all the minions on their way to him. But the whole time they realize Maverick is only talking to Wolverine. He doesn't even know this woman's there. And then they're like, oh, well, she's a vampire. So that's why, you can't video footage a vampire, it's an age-old kind of mythos with vampires, right? So then he's like, aha, I know how to sneak up on Maverick. I'm going to stab myself to make my healing factor weaker, because I guess, again, there was some kind of situation where Wolverine was bit, but he didn't turn to a vampire, because the vampire, parasites or whatever that are in your blood that turn you into a vampire don't affect Wolverine, because he heals quicker than it can turn him, something like that, right? So he's like, okay, I can fix that. So he intentionally stabs himself to weaken his healing factor, so the girl can bite him and make him a vampire, so then he can also hide from the cameras as well.
Yeah, I've never heard of the percentage healing factor thing, but I guess it can be explained. If it's healing here and then he gets wounded over here, now it's gotta heal here too, and I don't know.
Well, that would just mean it's so limited, right? Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. It was, they got to keep coming up with these interesting things to do during a seemingly basic story, especially since this is just a tie-in. Mm-hmm. And we can kind of draw a conclusion as to where this is going to end up. Obviously, this is the kind of Wolverine I love. I mean, this is the Wolverine you get all, and that's why I love Wolverine so much. But again, I don't have interiors either. But I showed some interiors before. Man, the interiors of this is just lacking again. I remember I showed those interiors when I reviewed 1 and 2. There was a couple kind of stood out bad ones to me, and they're just like, overall it's fine, but there's just like moments of big panels that stand out as, oh, that ain't right.
Yeah, that's
stuff like
tough.
that. Yeah. So, Wolverine and, man, I wish I could remember Night Watch. Yeah, I think her name's Night Watch. She's have you ever heard of her, Pat?
I can't recall.
But
I've heard the name. Is she part of the whole?
She kind of put me in mind. She's like a knight. She's like, that kind of female. She's old school. Carrying around a blade that's a magical blade. But anyway, they find Maverick, and of course they don't want to kill him though because it's an old buddy of Wolverine's. But then they manage to beat the big baddie vampire that's controlling Maverick and trying to get Wolverine, and they all live happily ever after. Literally, it was a moment of happily ever afterness, which I thought was kind of out of sorts with Wolverine books, where literally the last panel is just him getting the girl and they're kissing and kind of fade to black moment, and kind of ends that way, which is cool. But it just seemed odd. Like, I'm not reading I think the previous run of Wolverine's over, right? The new one's starting this month.
Starting soon. I can't remember. It might be next month, maybe.
Okay.
Starting soon.
So I don't know whether this is like an in between. Like they're gonna play it like it's in between. So. Overall, I'd say Wolverine Blood Hunt 1 through 4. It's good. I'd say definitely get it if you're a Wolverine fan. It's nothing horrible. But I would say, anybody, if you're not a Wolverine fan and you ain't reading Blood Hunt, especially, and this is one of those things where you could tell this isn't necessary at all. There doesn't seem to be any meat in this story that matters to the main Blood Hunt storyline anyway. So basically, if you ain't a Wolverine fan, you can forget this one. Save your money. Nothing special to see here. But if you're a Wolverine fan, it's cool enough. It's fine. So
It'll get your Wolverine fix.
Yeah, it'll get you a good Wolverine fix. Yeah. So
it's just like the way they played it in Spider-Man with the Blood Hunt is you kill the high up and then everybody that turned below reverts back to normal.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even think about that, but yes, because that's exactly how they essentially defeated Maverick. Because since they knew he was being controlled and he's an old friend of Wolverine, they didn't want to kill him. But of course, he's trying to kill them. So they realized they needed to kill her. And then, of course, yeah, Maverick reverted back to normal, so yeah. So anyway, I mean, this whole, man, big crossover or, books that span big events that span a bunch of books. Man, they're so cool though. It's just so frustrating because we're not rich and we don't have all the time in the world. But I do think these things are cool, so this made me a little interested into actually, some things that are said and talked about in the book. Did, how it works, piqued my interest in being curious about actually what's going on in Blood Hunt, so. Do you ever read it? Yeah. Either one of you? Would you ever? No.
I'm not a fan of those big, huge, because this is like this whole Blood Hunt. If you were to get all of it, which probably isn't necessary, you can read parts of it and still get it. But it's like 60 some issues, and it's just that's hard to get on board with that. And I think it does a disservice to, like, this doesn't really matter because Wolverine's between runs, but I think like whenever, like, to say Amazing Spider-Man and they have to shoehorn this storyline in, I think it kind of takes the wind out of the sails on the creators if they're in the middle of their own story and then it's like, oh, this is a whole universe wide thing. I've got to squeeze it into mine and still keep, so I don't know. Not a big fan of it.
Yeah. Well, I know you used to like them. Obviously, I think maybe they weren't as grandiose back in the day. So that's why,
they weren't as big. It would be, like when we first started, Follow the Mutants. it did reach out a little bit, but it was mainly an X-Men thing. If there's mainly a like Spider-Man thing where it takes place only in the Spider-Man world, or not, part of the Marvel universe, but where it's in everything. But I guess this almost does the way you explained it, where it kind of affects the whole universe. But I don't know. Not a fan of it.
I was hoping you'd talk a little bit longer because my dog just decided she was really thirsty. So I'm going to try to talk louder than there. She's done. Hey, side note too. Check this out. This drives me nuts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went to PA for the Def Leppard concert, and Ty took me to, I think it was Waterfront. Did Waterfront move, Pat? It's down 3 stores or whatever?
I think they did move. Yeah. They did move.
So anyway, I knew I needed number 4, and I was obviously looking for something to review. So I grabbed it from there, and it was just one book I grabbed from there. So I'm like, when I usually just buy 1 or 2 books, I ask, can I get a bag and board? And then they charge you, between 15 and 25 cents, whatever, right? Then seriously though, who uses I don't even know. I can't even get this tape off.
So it's not magic tape?
It's not magic tape. It's the worst. Literally, I had to tear. This bag's trash now. Yeah. It's a brand new bag and board I had to buy to ship 1 book, and now it's trash anyway. But who puts that kind of? I literally had to tear the I literally tore the plastic, and it was like opening a package. It was so annoying.
Well, the worst part is, it's a store that it's that's their business.
Exactly.
If you're new to collecting comics, I get it. It's like, I'll just use any old tape. But once you're in it for a while,
Like, I felt like it was slightly spiteful. I'm like, what did I do to you when I was into your store? Because the only way I'd put that on me, like, I'm going to get this guy. But
they've got the jerk customer tape and the regular customer tape behind the counter.
Right.
Like, hey, you know what? I don't like the way you look. Good luck.
That drove me nuts. I was mad about that for an hour last night. So
it's the guy that tries to get deals on long boxes full of comics.
Yeah.
Word spread.
You're in a database.
Right. All right, cool. Okay. All right, you ready to see Pat's hangover?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Hey, I'm gonna.
You did that one on purpose, Mike. What'd you say?
You're funny. Your timing was funny. Okay. I'm gonna run and refresh my coffee. I want Pat to know I'm not bailing on him. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right.
All right, Pat.
So, we had a lot of exclusives leading up to San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
But we all know that's a showcase to release new and upcoming product at the same show. So we had a lot of that, as usual. Sure. Let's start out with Hasbro and Transformers Collaborative. And we have the crossover between Transformers and Knight Rider.
Oh, man. Oh. That one might get me.
His name is Agent Knight. There he is in the Kit Car form.
Oh.
And here he is in the Autobot form. He's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, I just shared something with Mike recently. It's obviously nostalgia gets you in all kinds of different ways. And sometimes it gets you in a way that you didn't even realize it existed until they do something just right. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I saw a Knight Rider versus A-Team Was it Knight Rider versus A-Team racetrack that I shared to you, Mike? Remember it was like $150 or something. It was one of those electric racetracks.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that. I can't recall.
I think it was Kit in the A-Team van.
Might have been.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know why, but that one tickled my nostalgia fancy, and I was like, you know what? I need a Kit car. But I wasn't going to buy that because, I mean, although cool, those electric race, it was an old school, just pull the trigger and zoom, 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 zoom around, I was like, I'm not going to get that, but maybe I need to track down a cool kit car. And then boom, look at you do on Collectibles on the Horizon, because that's a pretty cool kit car.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of Transformer clunkiness going on when you look closely here. But I still think it's
a little
cool.
in the front, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little crowded inside in the window.
It does look a little. Yeah, I don't know. Michael Knight's gonna have a hard time fitting in.
Oh, I didn't even look in there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that looks like a hoarder's car. Yeah.
It just tinted the windows black or something.
Right.
But I think his robot form, like I said, is cool looking.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Another Transformers crossover, this time with G.I. Joe.
Did you say a price on these, Pat? Sorry.
No, I'll say right now, not a lot of pricing. I'm going to be revealing here because of the number of announcements and the lack of pricing that was shown, I just kind of avoided that this week. So I'd say this one, yeah, the Knight Rider is probably equivalent to like the Ecto-1 and what was the other one? The Back to the Future DeLorean. It's probably gonna be in that $30-$40 price range. Just a guess.
Yeah.
This one with the G.I. Joe is probably going to be more because it comes with 2 figures. This is the Cup Triple T, and it comes with Sergeant Slaughter in Leatherneck, and they can ride him in vehicle form. These are 3 3/4 inch Joes shown here, and here he is as robot form beside the G.I. Joe characters. So yeah, I think, I'm not a G.I. Joe expert. I'd have to consult my G.I. Joe book, I suppose, but I think the Triple T was an existing vehicle in the G.I. Joe line. I'm almost positive it was.
Yeah, I think I've seen it before too. Yeah.
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 So, they're making him into a Transformer here. Whether the aesthetic translates to G.I. Joe aficionados, I'm not sure. I think his robot form looks fine. I think here, cool. Yeah. I think here that looks fine too. It looks like a G.I. Joe vehicle from the 80s. And I think that's what they're going for here. So, yeah.
Not a bad crossover so far. Yeah.
Speaking of G.I. Joe, they announced the next HasLab at San Diego Comic-Con.
Uh-oh.
Hot off the heels of the successful Star Wars Vintage Cantina, we have the G.I. Joe Classified Rattler. So they're going back with another big vehicle in the G.I. Joe line. This is a massive vehicle, almost 3 feet long by 3 feet wide.
Wow.
Of course, the Cobra Rattler was a pretty prominent and well-liked plane back in the 80s in the G.I. Joe line. Now they're scaling it up for the 6-inch classified line. Kind of see some shots here as we go along. It is $325. It comes with the pilot you see there in the red, and you'll see some accessories coming up as well. The goal was 9,000 units. It funded in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
And it's currently sitting at 13,377 units pre-ordered.
Good for them.
Yeah, G.I. Joe never seems to have a tough time with these HasLabs. I'll stick my neck out. I think they're going to hit their tiers here, even though you'll see the first tier was kind of a loser tier. It's got light up cockpit. It's also got a light up. The Rattler is a 2-seater. The gunner's in the back. I don't think we'll see it here. But I don't think I have a picture of the gunner cockpit, but it also lights up. There's some armament, all the bombs and missiles and so forth.
That's cool.
The tarmac there. Here's a complete shot of everything. This is if it hits all tiers, because you see the two figures in the background there. We'll get to them in a second. There is a close up of the three figures that you could potentially. Well, you'll definitely get the one in the middle, the pilot. The other two coming up here when we hit the tier talk. The first tier, 11,000, which they've already passed. Some patches.
I love patches. I just never have anything to put patches on.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one thing to put patches on when I was younger, and I still have that jacket, but it never gets worn because it looks crazy with too many patches.
Yeah. Is it one of those shiny, silky?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That seems like
Yeah. I don't, it's kind of a weird one.
weak. Yeah, weak.
But you're already, if you backed it, you're getting the patches. No questions asked. You got those, even though this graphic says locked. It's been unlocked. We're very close to getting the second
jacket. Is the jacket the second one? That'd be awesome.
The jacket is not the second one. They're very close to unlocking the second tier at 14,000. That is the Rattler Gunner. Only a couple orders away from hitting him. And the final tier is the Baroness, and she's at 18,000. I don't think they'll end up hitting her unlock status, I'm sure. The way G.I. Joe Labs go. And I really regret there was a really good glamour shot of Baroness standing next to the Rattler. Maybe I'll show it next time if we talk about it. But I think this is a digital render. These are digital renderings here, I think. But they had prototypes, and as you can see from here, and the one of the Baroness has her helmet off, and she's standing next to the jet, looking all Baronessy. So,
yeah, that's great. That's a great promo shot right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Fantastic.
And if you go to the HasLab campaign proper, there's a lot. There's a few more glamour shots like that, because just for room, I couldn't show everything. But if you're a G.I. Joe fan, definitely look it up. I think fans, obviously, by how fast this funded, there's a lot of fans of the Rattler out there. There's a lot of G.I. Joe Classified fans, and they already know what this is. They're on board for stuff like this.
You'd imagine there's a few of them that probably buy multiple, especially if something like this then too.
Yeah.
One to play with and one to put away. That's the thing when these, the price point on these and how extravagant they are they ever really truly played with the way a toy should be by a 10-year-old? It's
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking about that. At this point, I think, and I've mentioned it a lot of times before, that when I look at stuff like this, and Pat put me onto it anyway, it's for the guys that are making these amazing, dioramas and stuff like that, and yeah, you'd want 2 or 3 of these Rattlers with that. And then obviously you could, you're going to get multiple pilots and, so I'd imagine that there'd be a few. If I were into this, that's what I'd do. I would totally want a squadron of Rattlers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't understand how awesome it would be if for a 10-year-old to play with something like this, because their imaginations are already great with the little $20 thing, but
yeah, that's something to that too, Mike. How obviously, it's a big thing with especially younger kids spending too much time with electronics and screen time and stuff like that. It sure ain't because of a shortage of awesome stuff to buy them. Because if we'd had this when we were kids, that would have been a good 2 months of nothing but this. I spent months on end just fighting Hot Wheels.
Mhm. Mark still every day plays with his Titan heroes.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to get a picture of all those. He probably has, I don't know, 50 of them.
Nice.
Jeez.
All right.
Pat,
Sorry for the interruption.
That's all right.
Feel free to interrupt us next time.
Yeah. I'm going to try to stick with Hasbro here. We'll see if I can keep everything in line. They announced a few more. These kind of leaked when the movie was starting to hit, and it's no big secret now. So I feel like I'm not at risk showing them. Everybody's seen. A couple more entries in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie line. We can see Wolverine in his yellow and blue costume. Another Deadpool and a civilian-looking Wolverine with a pack-in head pull. So just continuing out the line. There may even be more of these coming. I don't know. Again, limited for shots, but the Hugh Jackman face that packs in with that yellow and blue Wolverine is pretty well done.
Yeah, that's the one Ty wants the most. I think he mentioned that. Yeah.
This was kind of a surprising entry. This is a animated style Sentinel 2-pack. Sort of goes along with the old X-Men video game, because they're not really they're slightly oversized, but they're not giant size Sentinels, and they're sort of done in that lighter shade video game palette. So if you're a big fan of the game, there you go. You can buy a 2-pack of the Sentinels.
That's pretty cool. I totally love that game.
Yeah. This whole wave was shown, a second wave of Across the Spider-Verse figures. There they are, all on card. There they all are on box. We'll get to the individuals at $20.99 in and out. We've got another Miles. We've got a Miles G. Morales from the other universe where he's the Prowler. We've got the Spider-Man of India. I'm still not sure how you pronounce his name. Avatar. Yeah. So I thought he was pretty. I liked this character in the movie. I thought he was kind of neat.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Visually, he's cool too. Then we got.
I didn't think his powers made any sense though.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Well, he didn't shoot webs. He swung around with a yo-yo or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it. I have to rewatch it. Then we've got the original Peter Parker from Miles's world that was killed. I got him.
Are these masks or heads? Swap out heads.
Swap out heads. Yeah. And then we got another Spider-Punk.
Why is it purple?
That's a good question. That's sort of something I noticed going through these figures.
It really takes away from him, actually.
What was the other one? Yeah, like this one. His face is a darker red. I don't know. I think there was more instances of that. Yeah, so I'm not sure why it was purple there.
The cool thing about him is how colorful he is, all the different colors.
Maybe this is, you know what? I'm thinking I did hear something about this. Maybe it was like a hologram version of him.
Yeah, a scene in the movie where he was like that. I can't recall.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they gave him a regular looking head, so I don't know.
Maybe they had extra purple plastic. It's like, you know what? You need to get rid of that load of purple plastic.
Yeah, then we get another Spider-Gwen with I think the more colorful alternate hair head swap out here. And that little tiny figure in the bottom is Lila Cheney, I guess, from her universe. Who was a member of her band, or she was touring with Lila Cheney from X-Men lore. So
Interesting. Looks
yeah.
awesome though.
But the biggest for me coming out of Marvel or coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, and they only showed it on a presentation slide, so that's all I got to show here. But the thing that excited me most for the Marvel Legends line is ROM finally getting a new action figure in the 6-inch Marvel Legends line. I'm all on board for this guy.
He's cool.
Looks good.
Yeah.
That's all they showed of him so far. So he's coming. We kind of wondered because Marvel was doing the reprints in the omnibus form, and if they would do a Marvel, they did the Crystar figure earlier this year, dipping their toes back into these 80 toy properties. Although apparently Marvel owns Crystar outright, so it's not quite the legal situation here. Now people are asking, or hoping, can Micronauts be far behind? Because that's sort of the Micronauts, just like ROM, were fully ingrained into the Marvel universe as a licensed character. Then they had to disappear. So people are hoping to see them return in action figure form also. All right.
Crystar, Crystar.
No, whatever.
I was assumed it was Crystar. What say you, Mike?
I always read it as Crystar. Yeah.
Okay.
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystar. Yeah, exactly, Pat.
All right.
That's like whatever.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of that character anyway, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I don't
call him what you wish.
Okay.
Finally, I think this is the last to finish out Hasbro. We have some Star Wars. Started off with Black Series. We have another Ahsoka from Peridia in her white, mostly all white form. We have an Imperial Armored Commando from The Mandalorian. For all you troop builders out there. And next we have a IG-88 and Din Grogu 2-pack from The Mandalorian.
IG-12. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
sorry, IG-12. My mistake.
IG confused.
You say 12, I say 88. Whatever.
Whatever.
Same thing.
That's actually cool. I like that one.
Yeah, it's when they modified the robot, so Grogu.
Right. Modified IG-11 to become IG-12, right?
And there he is in box.
Man,
and
I like that one a lot. I'm a big IG-88 fan, so I was all for IG-11, and then you put Grogu in there with the. Oh, can we see those yes/no buttons? You got a shot of that?
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick them up too well. Not really, huh?
Yeah.
No.
And those little guys stole the show for me in Rise of Skywalker, right? Those what are those little guys' names?
I can't remember their race of alien, but it was Babu Freak.
Yeah, Babu Freak, right? Yeah,
was the main character,
right.
One of them, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep. Next, we have to finish off the Black Series. I think these two figures from the Acolyte, Vernestra, and Basil.
All right, just I know you can't wait for this update, Pat. So I'm this is my goal before the next show.
Okay.
I'm gonna get all the Acolytes watched. Teaser, everyone, stay tuned for that episode. I'm gonna cover the whole series in one show.
Yeah, Basil. I thought there was going to be more to him, but he kind of was like a lost plot line. I thought he was going to come in and do something miraculous, but no.
He looks cool.
He didn't. And finish up with some vintage series from Star Wars. Again, we have Ahsoka and Thrawn from Ahsoka in the 3 3/4-inch vintage series. We have the Armor's Forge playset.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what? I wasn't getting that one. Although I did want to get the helmets.
Yeah, you can kind
You
of
know.
see there's the pack out there with the Forge, the armor, Din Grogu, and some Mandalorian helmets, and a little cabinet where you can hold your tools and so forth.
Right.
I suppose your supplies.
Are those tools removable or is that a sticker, Pat? What's a
Man, that looks like
It looks like a sticker to me.
okay.
Another.
And was Grogu ever in the Armor's Forge?
Yeah, I believe so. Right?
Okay. I'm not recalling.
She talked to him.
Yeah, but I don't think it was actually in the Forge because the Forge was destroyed after the first season, I think, right?
Wasn't it like the makeshift forge on the new planet? Maybe.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah. So she can just build forges wherever she is, essentially. I think maybe.
Yeah. She's an armor. We have the deluxe Cobb Vanth, and you can see right beside it, we have a blurg with the Mandalorian. There's a close up of the blurg with the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and a close up of Cobb Vanth.
Dadgummit. I definitely want those. I just bought a Boba Fett for the first time in a long time too. I found the what it's the 3-inch, those cartoony pack cards, the cartoony kind of cards. What is that series?
Cards or figures? You mean on the card? The card's sort of animated looking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The name's not sticking.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? They're very bright orangey ones.
Right.
I found a Boba Fett for that, so I bought it or grabbed it.
Yeah. Moving over to McFarlane. They announced some more of those Marvel statues, okay? And just briefly I saw a shot of Spider-Man without the background, so I knew we had talked about that before. So there he is. They're tight. They're tight shots, so it doesn't give you a great look, but I figured I'd grab them while I was thinking about it.
You got one more?
No, just these two.
No, I can't really decide.
Yeah.
I need to see that from the back.
Not this week, Kevin.
I'm not even joking this time. I really need to see how that looks from the back because it doesn't seem like it'd be right.
Yep.
Right, Mike? You tracking?
I know what you mean. I think it looks good from there, but like Pat said, it's hard to tell with that tight shot. I like it.
All right, Pat, did you bring the receipts? Because I think what me and Mike were saying, if I could correct me if I'm wrong, is that we thought it would look better with the back, and you thought it would look better without the back, right? Was that the conversation?
Yes, because I thought the backgrounds looked like cheap cardboard cutouts.
Right, and we thought it would look better. Do you have a picture locked and loaded of a one with the back?
Not of the old series. I have coming up. You'll see some with the backgrounds, but
okay,
nothing. I need to get better glamour shots, of in box versus out of box, I guess.
Do you know how when you look at a word long enough, it starts to look weird?
Yes.
Okay. The longer you have this picture up, the more I look at it, the more this doesn't look right. Just look at it, Mike. Just look at it. Mike, look at that arm. I mean, look at that leg above his right.
Well, yeah, yeah.
It looks like it's coming out of his back over his head. That's fine there. You're cheating, Pat. Put it back to the other crappy one. Yeah, look at how stupid that looks.
Yep. I see what you're saying.
Who drew this thing anyway?
It's almost like a slot machine. You grab it.
It works. It works as an anime or a cartoony 2D print, but not as what I guarantee if I ever see this in real life, they'll hold it and be like, oh man, this is so awesome. Anyway,
I like the webbing at the bottom, the base, what's holding them up. I like that webbing. Looks really cool.
Yeah, I think it's well done. Even the spaghetti webs via McFarlane done in that. Maybe they could be a little bit darker, but I think it pulls off the look of McFarlane's webs rather well. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere between that initial lineup of Marvel statues and the new San Diego announcements, this slipped out. Just this one shot. This is based on Amazing Spider-Man 38's cover by Steve Ditko. This is going to be a Target exclusive.
That's cool.
That's as far as I know, that's the only shot that they've had so far of this one. So more to come on this one. Moving on to the San Diego announcements, and again, this is just the entire lineup of these are the 110 scale ones, which is the 7-inch ones, and they just had the whole lineup. No, they may have had individual shots. I didn't get them because these are presentation slides. So when these come up in more official packaging and stuff, maybe we'll show them again. There's a lot to see here. This is the 1/10th lineup. You can see a Venom, a Miles, a Cap, a Magneto, a Spider-Man, and a Green Goblin versus Hobgoblin. That's the covers that they're basing them on, and here are the statues. And here you get them without the background. So, and again, apologies. We're not getting close-up shots here, but just to give you an idea what's on the slate coming up here. I think the Amazing Spider-Man is that 50, number 50 or number 60 by John Romita. I think that one looks really well done. Spider-Man swinging there.
Yeah.
I think the only one that's questionable is that Cap. That's another one that works on, as a drawing, but I'm not sure.
I agree. I don't know if it's translating very well there. We'll have to see maybe a different angle or something.
Yeah, the angle, yeah.
And see how well, it translates from the art. Also, the Magneto looks like the right pose, but we need a closer shot of that one.
Yeah.
And I guess you're only getting the Green Goblin on that Hobgoblin versus Green Goblin cover. So,
well, I was thinking about that with the Venom and Spider-Man too.
Yeah, that's true too. Yep. So when we get better, renders of these, we can make a better judgment. But I wanted to show these only because of the final two, which are in the 1/6 scale, which is the larger scale, 12-inch size. And they're doing Wolverine and Hulk and some of our favorite covers here.
The Hulk cover.
Oh, man. Oh. Those are some of my favorite covers.
Well, there's the covers, of course. Showed them out of order, I guess. And
it's so funny to see that Wolverine, the rest of the body.
Yeah, it is it is crazy.
That's pretty spectacular, though.
Yeah, I love both of those a lot.
At first glance, I think they're well done. I'll be interested to see as they progress and maybe get some better shots. But like I said, first blush, I think they look well done. Although Hulk's knee kind of disturbs me there a little bit.
Can you go back to the covers real quick?
How was it presented there? Yeah, they need to fix that.
Oh, it's fine.
They definitely went more texture
Yeah, it's way too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
They'll fix it. They'll fix it in edits and finals. No, those are great. I like those.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
think they did a really good job incorporating the logo destruction.
Yeah.
You know, it looks, at least here, it looks pretty spot on. So we'll see.
Yeah.
This is a whole new thing now. I mean, not that I've recognized them doing covers like this. I know in the past there have been some, cover figures, but I don't know. These just seem next level.
These two definitely impressed me the most so far out of everything they've shown. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, you said these are the bigger ones too, huh? That's cool.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think if I look back quickly, the 1/6, these guys, there's the previous cap with the McFarlane cap with the shield above his head. That was retail for 50. So these will, well, I don't know. That Hulk's a lot bigger, I would guess. So, they're in that $50-$60 range for these bigger 1/10 scale. Sorry, 1/6 scale. My mistake. Finally, to wrap up McFarlane, as we get close to wrapping up the Horizon, just because it ties into our cover combat, stay tuned this Monday for our next round of cover combat. We have Movie Maniacs Rocky figures.
Oh, nice.
So we have Rocky, Balboa, and Clubber Lang. Available now at Walmart. I don't know if that means they're exclusive right now at Walmart and then we'll go to other outlets. But, and again, apologies just because of the number of product. I only had the 2 shots because I don't quite understand. It almost looks like there are maybe, now that I'm running this through my brain, this is McFarlane for you. And I'm betting they showed portraits that were beat up, like bloodied and bruised headshots. And I'm wondering if they're going to be variants because McFarlane loves to do variants of his figures. So if you want those versions, keep an eye out. Because they did show the pack out, like with the box. Again, Movie Maniacs usually come with a trading card or an art card, and they show all the accessories. There were not 2 head swappable heads, and that kind of makes sense, going that these are more like statue-like. So I'm almost betting that they're chase variants if you want the bloody, bruised versions of them. If you're a Rocky fan.
I don't know about that Mr. T face. That's a little off, it seems.
Well, maybe it's his mouth guard. His teeth don't look very good.
It looks like he's been bitten by a vampire.
You tracking more with the Mr. E.T. figure Mike showed in the group this week?
There you go. You're still tracking with that.
Yeah.
I want that.
All right. And the final
Pretty
items.
cool, though. I can
Yeah.
think of someone in particular that'll love those.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny. Johnny's a big Rocky fan.
Well,
Is he? He loves Rocky?
He loves Rocky. Yep.
Okay. Finally, to wrap up the Horizon from San Diego Comic-Con, we have some NECA announcements. This one, they've done a lot of turtle figures in the past. They continue to do turtle figures. They did the last Ronin figures, so forth. They're tackling the
Ronin.
2012 Nickelodeon.
Ronin.
Jeez, Kevin. I didn't know this was going to be an English grammar podcast today.
The long O, Pat. Long O.
I'm
Sorry,
tired. I
Pat.
had a rough
Sorry.
week.
Sorry.
Was that extended what Kevin watched?
Okay.
But they're gonna do some 2012 Nickelodeon Turtles, which is one of my favorite versions of Turtles, probably because I watched it with my son, and I really like the designs. I think it was a well done show, sort of taking the best elements of the original and revamping them for a modern show. All they had so far was Michelangelo, and there's been deluxe collectors figures of these, but I think they were Revoltech. And they were Japanese imports, and they just weren't action figures. They were more like superposable display pieces. So this is their first real shot at the collector's market. And it'll probably be NECA's typical price point right now is a $35 figure. So that's probably what you'll be getting out of these. That's what they do with their ultimate figures. And speaking of ultimate figures, to finish it off, we had the Super 7 Reaction and Sesame Street. We talked about those guys a couple weeks ago. NECA also has the Sesame Street license, and they're doing ultimate Sesame Street figures. First up, we got Bert. And then we got Ernie. And we've got the Count.
Man, is Sesame Street like this? I mean, it's like, obviously what's happened in this market is it's carried up from, 70s, 80s generations. Now we're older and we have money, whatever, and we're willing to spend big money. Is there Sesame Street fans like that have aged that are willing to spend big money on this? I guess. I mean, obviously the answer is yes, I guess, if they're investing in it. But that never registered for me.
You've got the Sesame Street fans, and you've also got Muppet fans in general. If you quick history lesson, there's a company, a now defunct company, well-loved defunct company called Palisades Toys, who did spectacular Muppet figures, the Muppets, and they were just getting ready to do Sesame Street when they went out of business. And these apparently somebody took some of their Palisades Muppets to San Diego Comic-Con to try to get a shot, to see how well they scaled with these new Sesame Street figures, and they seem to be going in the same general scale. So if you were a big Palisades fan, which there are a lot of people out there who collected that Muppets line, they're going to be on board for these NECA Sesame Street Ultimates to finally get some quality figures and in a similar scale. So
interesting. Yeah, definitely not judging. Obviously, this is our line of, it's all in line with what we like. It just, I don't know why I didn't fit it in there before, but obviously I should. It's cool.
Yep. And that's it for the Horizon, at least this week. We may in future shows pick up some stragglers from San Diego Comic-Con, but who knows? By then, new product was probably going to be on the horizon. So that's it for this week.
Good stuff.
Dadgummit. Nice. Great job, Pat. I was really worried for a second when you said when you use the tease of a hangover. Usually a hangover is like what happens. Well, I guess it does make sense then. But what I was thinking of, you were done with it. Like, it's like, when you have a hangover, you're like regretting. I'm like, I don't want to drink anymore, whatever, So I was thinking it was either going to be very little or, you didn't have any of it left anymore because you were like over it or whatever. So that was awesome, is what I'm trying to get to in a really long-winded way.
Okay.
Right, Mike?
Yes. Sorry, I was working on a list here. You'll see.
What's on your list?
You'll see.
Okay. I hope it's my Christmas present list after that.
Oh, speaking of presents, I still have your birthday gifts upstairs.
Oh, okay, cool.
I might just hold them until 2025.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you're first, Mike.
All right. Well, I'm gonna.
Oh wait, hold on a second, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Mine's gonna be a few. Mine's gonna be a minute. Okay. I'm just gonna do this one and then I'll be done. But can you put that Wolverine comic book cover back up? That you
oh, Kevin, yeah.
Or Patrick,
What?
somebody. The book that you read, your Wolverine book.
Oh! I thought you were talking about the statue because we were talking about my Christmas present.
Same here.
Yeah. So anyway, I was looking at that.
Okay.
And I was wondering, okay, why does Wolverine have pouches on his belt?
Uh-huh.
What could he possibly need?
Right.
So I started thinking, what are in the pouches of Wolverine's belt? So I have a list of things that could possibly be in there.
Sounds fun. Okay.
Lifesavers, Band-Aids, granola bars, batteries, knife sharpener, some cigarettes, breath mint tins, chapstick for everyone, Zippo lighters, G.I. Joe action figures, or copies of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Run-Ins.
All right. I think that last one might have been a little jab at you, Pat.
That's okay. I'm ready to jab myself. Speaking of
Oh, here we go. Okay.
You know, we had the Transformers collabors. You know, the Knight Rider looks cool. The G.I. Joe Classified looks cool. But I'm waiting for Hasbro and NECA to team up to do a Crystar Ronin figure.
That will be epic. Okay, I wanted to have my moment here in the recap to talk about teasers for the future. And I just realized too, Pat, you already have this. You just don't have it with you.
It's not with me, correct?
Ah. All right. Well, everybody, prepare yourself for the future. The show recap is going to be changed to a show conversation while we open mystery packs of miscellaneous purchases. I'm going to start today while I remind people that sometimes a director's cut of a movie is good, and sometimes the director's cut of a movie is bad. But sometimes a director cut of the same movie is good and bad at the same time in two different ways. So you may have to have the original and then the directors, or the directors and then the original. You never know. See this episode for details.
Right.
You're up, Mike.
I ran through everything.
Wait, that was the only recap you had? Was that joke?
Yeah, that's what I said. I put a lot of effort into that joke.
Okay.
That's a long list.
Yeah. Well, I had to do it while the picture was up.
Pat, go ahead. What you got?
I don't really have much. I just I guess I wasn't really on board for Rebel Moon, but now that I know that it shows you how you harvest wheat in slow motion, I may be on board.
Nice. Well, while I reveal this metal nano, what are they called? Yeah, nano metal figs. I always say that wrong.
They're from Jada, right?
Jada nano metal fig mystery pack, which I think I have all but 2 on the back here already. So we'll see. And I kind of like how it's wrapped in, packaging in the packaging. So as I unfold this and see, but I just want to remind people while I'm doing that movies probably should stop at 3. Because it always seems like when you get into that 4+ range, that's when things really start to deteriorate. See Ghostbusters 4 during this episode for more details.
Especially Bill Murray, apparently.
Boom!
Hold it up. Can't see it. You're frozen. Oh, there you go. Oh, Gamora.
And guess what? I do not have Gamora, so this is a win for me.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Better be for $5 or $4, I think.
Yeah. Back it up a little bit. She's blurry. Like, hold it right here. Because your face isn't blurry, but she is. Oh, there you go.
All right, Mike, what you got?
my list. It was too long. I'm done. I don't have any more.
No, what you're supposed to do is while Pat's talking and I'm talking, come up with another one, Mike. That's how this works.
Is that how you do it?
I
Pat?
think I'm watching you guys though. I'm watching the show.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else. Go out and buy Ain't No Grave. Enjoy the artwork.
I plan to, actually. Yeah. And I plan on
Or wait for the collected edition.
Say it again, Pat. I'm sorry.
Or wait for the collected edition. Don't go out and buy it until then.
Oh, yeah. And now I have to buy a new Cobb Vanth and a new Wolverine and Hulk statue. This is a show for the ages. But who doesn't need this though? So I'm gonna save this one for when y'all are ready. So
Yep, I'll be ready next show.
I might grab a couple more of these though, because especially being lucky with the first one. Oh man, I need to put together my metal nano figs or nano metal figs collection. It's pretty epic at this point. Because I busted them all out. I don't have them in packaging. So.
Well, how many? I think I bought those display cases. They had them on. They were like $20, I think. And then Target had them, or Walmart. One of them had them on sale for like $3, and I bought everything off the shelf. I think I have. How many are down there? Xcellar, like 5. One's out, and then I think there are 4 still in the box, maybe.
Oh, those were yours? Ooh. I'm just kidding, Mike. I didn't touch on. You know what I do need to do? Though? I need the catalog. I need to get them logged and cataloged to track.
Yeah, they had repaints and everything on some of those. So
yeah, they got so many repaints, and then they seem to not be coming out in order too, because I was following series, but then like Target put in like a whole pack more. And I bought one thing and it was new, and it was a series I already had that was prior to the last series I bought. It was like, so they'll pull that on you at Target too, not just comic book stores. You know what I mean?
Cool.
All right. So anyway, that'll do it then. You guys good?
That'll do it.
Yeah.
So we'll have that segment. We'll change it from a literal recap to just conversation while we unpack some mystery stuff, which will be fun.
Rewrap while we unwrap. How's that?
Segment name.
Recap while we unwrap.
Yeah.
The unwrap recap wrap. Nice. It's perfect.
With Cap. Yeah.
All right. So please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications. We'd really, really appreciate it. Check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics. And I'm just going to give a little shout out right now to a friend of ours that hopefully is a friend of ours now, that we actually were away from the show for a while. So I got away from eBay for a while. We made like a few sales on eBay and people were just like chilling, like not even getting their stuff. So the people that happened to, we really appreciate your patience, and won't happen again. Promise. So check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics. And you can help support the show and everything we do and plan to do through Patreon at patreon.com/XcellarComics. We'd really like this to be our full-time job, so more of those is better than less. You can watch Cover Combat 9 Round 4, finally, Xcellar versus the World Edition, this coming Monday, August 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be live, and we're like 99% sure on that, Pat, or is it still 75-25 maybe? What are you thinking? How confident are you?
I'm 99% confident.
Awesome. Okay. You got to leave that 1% for safety net.
You do. Yeah, that's right.
So then lastly, watch our next live stream on YouTube or Facebook on Saturday, August 24th, again, 2 weeks from now at 8 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be an epic show. Not only our regular fun, but also this new segment we're talking about. And also it'll be a previews show. Correct, Mike?
Yep.
Mike is so ready. He's on point with previews constantly. I keep failing regularly. Man, I'm not going to this next show because
well, if you guys haven't looked yet, we're supposed to come up with 10. I think I have about 18 right now. So I need to downsize, and then I got to put my graphics together. Yeah. So
It sounds like
So
a good
much.
previews guide then. So that's good.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Anything else, Mike?
Nope. Nothing else. See y'all Monday night.
Anything else, Pat?
Nope. See you Monday.
Awesome. We miss you, Karen. And until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome. And reading a great story is also fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Xcellar out.